Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the Conservation Commission meeting for Monday, April 2nd, 2018 at 7:05 p.m. First on the agenda is a notice of intent, public hearing continuation for 58 Chestnut Street, Alfred Prado. And
Good evening, my name's Norman Hill. It's been a while since we've met on this. And since we met last, a couple things have happened. The Board of Health has approved the septic design, and we went in front of the ZBA, and we had asked them for a variance to allow us to build a house just 10 feet from the sideline. They didn't like that idea. So go back and rethink this, get it further away from the lot line. So we went back and requested it 15 feet away from the sideline, and they granted that variance. So we're able to move the house and everything up the hill 10 feet further. Also moved the driveway up the hill. Now the driveway comes in right over the septic system. So everything's been moved away from the wetland and the resource. We're not doing anything within the 25-foot no disturb zone now. This orange line here would be where the siltation barrier would go. We have a second siltation barrier around the well. And so we feel like we've done everything we can to minimize the impact of this site. If you recall, this was a grandfathered lot. It was created many years ago, about 40 years ago. And we're hopeful that the board would issue an order of conditions for this site.
What are you calling out the driveway material?
It would be paved over here. It would be paved, yeah.
And originally, the last drawing you had a wall, right?
Yes,
and that's
the retaining
gone
wall's
now?
gone, yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
instead I put a plastic barrier here. That goes in the ground about 4 feet deep, goes right like that. So that's, instead of the retaining wall, we did that. So that was another way to minimize and keep things back.
Want the breakout?
Yeah, the breakout, yeah.
And you said you've got Board of Health. I also have a note here, needs DEP response.
Yeah, the DEP had given a response on the notice of intent, and they had asked us to use a particular method to calculate that 100-year flood, because the government had the 100-year flood coming through here, which made no sense with the river going like this. So we
It
went
was
out.
this line.
Yes, yeah. So we went out and did a cross-section here,
And I think it's a lot.
We surveyed that, and using the method that the DEP had recommended, we calculated a flood line coming up along this line here, which follows the river, makes more sense. But in either case, we're well above the flood line.
Yeah, because when you went down there, it was a little flat for the
Right
inability
next.
for water to overflow to the, that used to be right next to the
Yes.
house.
Yeah. We've got all up on the hill
And then
now.
the erosion control you're calling out is what?
We've got silk fence and strong walls, I believe. It's in the second sheet, that hasn't changed.
And no stockpiling on site?
No,
And is there a note on that?
I don't think there is.
Good condition.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that the person installing this knows that there's no stockpiling. Is there anything in your notes?
No.
I thought that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't think
We
that
had
was.
talked about that, no?
Yeah.
You get a lot of notes, but,
Not that one.
okay. I think it's the best you can get.
Brandy?
What's the orange?
I
Yeah,
think.
this is the
Say it again.
siltation controls here, and there's a stone wall here. That stone wall will stay in place.
Oh, okay. And you said your 25-foot was where?
This darker line down here, see it? That's your 25-foot number still right there. So we're above there.
Oh, it does say that, yeah.
Okay. Anybody in the audience have any questions?
No, I mean, they have you want their comments on it. There was that and, the riverfront area, which I think you put the note in there, saying about 1058,
Yes,
4 subsection D.
yes.
I don't think you're combining the other lots,
No,
right? So
Yeah, that
you're
was-
claiming the grandfathership because it's after
yes.
August 7th of 96. So as long as you, maximum extent practicable,
Yeah.
you're trying to move it out of the
Minimize everything as best we could. yeah.
best you could.
Okay.
And then you did have a riverfront, I mean, I think the first time, did you redo the floodplain report? I mean, you submitted a report, so I think for a couple of times you just kind of did it through,
Then we did it with the method that that they had recommended the FEMA method?
Yep.
Yeah.
You all set, Steve?
Yep.
Okay, board, what's your pleasure? Issue,
Make a motion to issue the order of conditions for 58 Chestnut Street with the condition that there shall be no stockpiling on site
second, and to close public hearing.
and to close the public hearing.
Second that too.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much. Great idea to go for the variance. Great idea.
You can only have one person to thank.
Thank you. I brought you 2 more copies of this plan.
I was wondering what this was.
Oh, that's some,
I was like, oh my gosh, we're getting an automotive place.
no, that's another project.
Shucks.
dreaming.
We need money.
All right. 5 minutes.
Come here.
Okay.
We need money.
Next, we have a public hearing for the town of Douglas, North Street at Charles Street. Steve, yeah. Bill.
The advertisement probably is in the folder, along with the certified green cards.
Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing for the town of Douglas on April 2nd, 2018 at 7:05 PM in the Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, MGL 131, Section 40. Proposed work location will be done on North Street, Charles Street,
At the Charles Street.
at Charles Street, and involves removal of failing spillway and associated slope repair and stabilization.
Good evening, Bill Cundiff, Town of Douglas. The project is a result of a recent rainstorm, which caused some erosion in the vicinity of the North Street Bridge. This is the North Street Bridge, this is the Mumford River. This is North Street, Gilboa Street's here, and Charles Street comes in here. This vicinity, there's a spillway that's been existing. It's a stone arch spillway adjacent to the stone arch bridge that was associated with the mill complex back in the day. This spillway is currently not being utilized. It's just sitting there. Sometime in the more recent past, it looked like there was some bridging that occurred over the end of the spillway, and that bridging is what failed. Apparently at some point the road was widened a little, and over the years the erosion caused that widening to fail, and that's why that lane of the road is closed. Steve's got some photos up
You want to see
there.
the photo? Let's see here, so. I'm just gonna run through them.
So that's a one-to-one side slope at the end of the spillway. The spillway's there under the road, but it was bridged over the end. And because it's so low, if you come down from the road elevation, it's fairly steep. It's a one-to-one side slope.
Oh, I saw some gold in there, and I almost went in
In a
after it, but it's,
Better not go down there.
Buff told me about it years ago, but.
Too risky.
Now, this is immediately adjacent to the recently
All right, wanna go back?
completed retaining wall project at the North Street Bridge that we did get permitted and we completed this past fall. That project was completed. We did submit a certificate of compliance, and that's forthcoming, I think, before the commission. There is somewhat of a linkage between that project and this project. I'll get into that in a minute. But generally speaking, the project is we're going to remove the existing spillway in its entirety. Highways requested that. They said it's a safety issue. So we're going to do that. We're going to fill it in with gravel, bring it back up to grade, and pave over it. We will have to replace a section of the water line that goes over that section. And then in addition to that, you can't really see it that clearly, but the existing contours do go in quite tight to the edge of the road. We're proposing to fill that banking and then put riprap stabilization on it. and that's going to be at a 1.5 to 1 max side slope, just to make it a more stable slope. As part of that filling on the side slope, we're actually going to end up filling 5.2 cubic feet of bordering land subject to flooding. And that's where this previous project comes into play, which was immediately adjacent in this vicinity. We did have a net positive 4 cubic feet of flood storage as part of that project. So we're at a net deficit of 1 cubic feet for flood storage in this immediate vicinity.
Is that a wheelbarrow?
That's not even a wheelbarrow. That's 3 cubic feet, I think. Anyways, that was one of DEP's comments. They did issue a DEP file number, which is 143-0951. And so I asked the engineer to give me a quick analysis of that to address DEP's comment, which they basically said it has to be addressed. Either the commission has to be satisfied it's a de minimis impact, or it's something that has to get, we have to provide compensatory storage for that 1 cubic foot. So the analysis basically shows, and this should have been distributed, I don't know if you have it. For the 100-year floodplain, we're looking at roughly a surface area of 7,000 square feet of the river that would be benefiting from this or impacted by this, and that would cause a rise of 0.00017 feet, or 2/1000th of an inch in water elevation. So basically that's, from our opinion, insignificant. So the commission would have to find that that's a de minimis impact and, or otherwise. So that's the scope of this project. All of the work is within the 100-foot riverfront areas. This portion obviously goes right up to the edge of the river. And then you'll also notice on this plan, I did put a red dashed line. After we had the engineering pretty much done, I was approached by the Water and Sewer Department to request the commission, since the road's going to be closed, can they upgrade the diameter of this water line from this point to Gilboa Street, just to take advantage of the opportunity.
What size is it now?
It's 8-inch, it's going to be 12-inch.
For the factory to run it down, Gilboa?
Yeah, otherwise we'd have to come back before the commission, close the road at another time and deal with it again.
So, I'm sorry, what does that entail doing? I mean, you're replacing that?
It would be excavating the existing 8-inch water line out and replacing it with a 12-inch diameter pipe.
Within the roadway.
Within the roadway, so we'd cut the edges of pavement, excavate a trench, put in the new pipe, backfill, and then pave over it.
How wide would the trench be? I'm just curious about whether we need any
Typically,
additional
they're 4
erosion
feet
control or
wide,
anything.
and we're relatively shallow with the pipe because this pipe goes over the stone arch. So
Okay.
When are they doing the Gilboa replacement? Because there's, I mean, around the corner, they'll have a separate filing.
that would be a separate filing
Mm-hmm.
that would be dealt with through the Water and Sewer Department.
Is there any reason not to just throw some erosion controls along the sides of the road if you're going to be cutting a 4-foot wide chunk of asphalt out?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, there's a
We-
reason, or
Absolutely,
there's no
we can
reason?
do that. That can be,
Wow,
Absolutely, there's a reason. Just in
Yeah, let's
case.
add that to it.
Is there an area for staking, or are you just gonna lay it on the concrete for the erosion control? On the street?
we would probably put it right on the shoulder of each side in this area.
Where the bridge abutment hit.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, there's nothing on the
going on
other
there?
two sides.
What's
Of
going
the
on with
bridge.
that? up
That's
in
the
there?
area fill. So
No, I
this-
just mean the fact that the fill is on top of what up here. Is the pink?
The pink is the 100-year flood.
Thank you, sorry, I was
Yeah.
I was confusing that with the erosion control line.
Should have
Sorry,
been a
got
little
it.
bit more pointed on the topo. That's what he said for you. So it should have really followed that, right?
Yeah, that 1 cubic foot that we're arguing over
Oh, yeah.
pretty much is,
Looked all.
Got it. Got it, got it.
factor of error in that topography.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was
Right.
confusing it with something else.
So what do we have for conditions?
Erosion control needed at both ends of the bridge. Water line replacement.
Okay, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing and issue the order of conditions for Town of Douglas North Street at Charles Street with the condition that erosion control be added to both sides of the banks of the road.
And do we need to state anywhere that it's a de minimis, what was it, de minimis impact?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a negligible impact on the 100-year floodplain fill.
Is that to be added like a condition, or?
Well, it was in her
It's
motion.
in the minutes,
Oh, it is.
that's fine. Yeah, or-
Yeah, I think it just needs to be a statement that we recognize that there's a little bit that we're missing.
Yeah.
For,
I'll
in
second
lieu of
that.
compensatory storage.
Did you read out a DEP number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what was it?
951.
Thank you.
So, motion was made and seconded.
No comments?
Oh, anybody in the audience have any comments? No? Okay. Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Now, we need to issue the certificate of compliance on the old.
I don't know if Maria has that in your
She
packet
did.
yet.
She has the old
yes.
one typed up.
So basically, we submitted a request for a certificate of
Yeah.
compliance. That project's complete. It was built exactly according to the design without any deviations.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And we
wanna
have
do
that
that?
request in our file?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for the Town of Douglas, North Street at Mumford River Bridge, DEP number 143-0933.
Anybody second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks.
All staff can eat.
Oh, by 9. Okay, next, we have a public hearing continuation for 60 Woodland Road, Deer Crossing Development. Oh, and we have a sign-in sheet. Forgot to tell you all this. If you could just sign in and pass that around, please. Thank you. What is this? Oh, that was
From the first one, yeah. He said he brought 4 copies.
Oh,
There must be revised new ones. Do you want me to hold them?
you can do that.
Why not?
Bring that up a little closer. There we go, that's fine, yep.
My name is Dave Microdot. We were here back March 5th. We're continuing here for 3 lots. For what we call Lot 31A, which is house number 60. We made a few changes from, based on our discussions with the board. The house has stayed exactly the same as previously presented. Septic as well is exactly the same. Driveway and lot lines are exactly the same. We had talked earlier. We've made some changes. I've actually pulled the well 5 feet further away from the wetland. I have the old well and the old limit of work in purple, and the new limit of work in yellow. So what we had previously proposed is this purple line that went out and around the foundation drain. Can you see, Rebecca?
No. Which plan are you looking at first?
60, which is 31B. So we had previously a limit of work was that purple line, and our foundation drain is here, and our limit of work came here and here for this particular lot. This is our lot that we're talking about, comes up, comes over, and down and around. So what we've done is we've moved the well about 5 feet further away from the wetland. We've moved the old purple shed to the new black shed, also 5 feet away from the wetland, and have put a note on there about a temporary disturbance. To
5 feet further away?
No, 5 feet further away from the
Not
wetland.
from the wetland. but-
Yeah, that's good.
Yep. So,
And the drainage coming up the driveway?
Yep, what we've done is we've finalized the swale that's solely on property of 31B. Buffer zone is here. So this portion of that's the swale, that's the root of the swale, right through there. So we've actually have a detail on our plan. We're gonna line the bottom of it with riprap, 12 inches deep. And then this part is outside the buffer. The whole thing will be lined with riprap. Limit of work is now the yellow, and by doing so, we have 1,484 square feet less work in the buffer zone.
So tell me about the end of the swale, what happens then?
It just blends to natural grade right here. It's about 2 feet high, and then ends right here.
What's the distance for the natural grade that you've got? So you have some velocity coming down the hill a little bit, right?
Yep, and that's why we have the riprap all the way to the end. And then the limit of work, here's our 50-foot buffer, and our limit of work is right here in the orange. So limit of work ends at the limit of swale.
Okay, so what exactly is gonna happen with the water?
It's just gonna,
You think it's gonna catch, it's
Disperse.
not gonna have velocity down the
No.
hill?
Nope.
Okay. And then what's the, like the pink dark line next to it?
this one here? Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had talked previously about moving the split rail fence is in away from the wetland edge. So that's our new, that pink there dash is our limit of our new split rail fence. And one of the requirements was to put it behind the shed, so we've done that as well.
Okay, so the arrow that you show isn't really the movement of water, it's the direction of the land?
That's that red arrow right here?
Yeah.
This is the center of our swale. That's where
Okay,
the water's gonna
alright, so
go.
it's not really an arrow, it's more shedding?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
That's the
In
swale. I
location.
just wanted to show the swale. So this comes down this way.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just wanted to make sure that there wasn't an actual like
You got a profile.
stream type of
top
thing.
left.
Okay, yeah, I see it. Just,
So you don't have to worry about erosion of the swale with the velocity of a grass swale with the coefficient because he's got riprap,
okay.
right?
Yep.
That's all I'm wondering,
Yep.
like, was there gonna be like?
Plus you'd have, if it was grass, you would have put netting or something.
Exactly.
Do a
Or a check
calculation.
dam.
So
Yep.
I think
Oh, okay.
the riprap is gonna eliminate any erosion.
Right, exactly.
And I also had that you needed Board of Health approval. Have you
We do
gotten
have
that?
Board of Health approval. I got word on March 20th that these 3 lots have been approved.
Approval what?
I'm sorry, could you state your name, please, and wait to be recognized by the chair before you ask your questions?
I'm Rebecca O'Melia. I'm in the butter to all of these.
And your
properties.
address, please?
81 Old Farm Road.
Okay. And what's your question?
My question is, what has been approved by the Board of Health?
The septic design.
Okay. I had some questions about the septic designs as well. I'm not.
Well, that's not for this board.
Okay, I understand that. But some of the physical constraints of the septic and the wetlands are a concern as well. This septic system encroaches on the edge of the 50.
Well, the septic is not this board's approval. We can only approve what's under our jurisdiction.
But it's it's inside the 50-foot offset of the wetlands. the
That's
actual
true.
limit of
We
work.
do realize that.
Okay, and then I also have some concerns about the swale, and I don't see a riprap, I see a wall shown right here.
Are you looking at a different plan?
That's this?
This is this right here. That's the swale that comes down through here. So that red line on paper is the center line of the swale, which is here.
I don't see where this is shown in here. What do you mean?
Could you bring the plan up to the table so is that the plan that you have here?
Yeah, she has the same copies that you do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I hand-delivered those to her on Tuesday. So basically, Rebecca, the bottom of the swale is 3 foot wide. That rock, picture of a rock is the bottom line of the swale.
Of this?
Yes, it is. So it would start, so we're right here, right here. That's that curve, it's right here,
Okay.
and then all the way down to that. So there's your lot line, right here. Here's your swale, here's your wall, here's your wall. Just do a blow up.
Yeah, I don't
There's a
see
lot
how
for you.
that's That's not shown on the site plan. You show it over here, but it's not shown.
Just by contrast, see what contrast here?
Yeah. It's not shown on this plan. There's something else, something else is shown here. A proposed retaining wall is shown here, but this is not shown on that.
Version maybe?
Right, because it'd be too much information, so.
He's saying it's the same plan.
Oh, okay.
I still see.
Okay, any other abutters or have concerns? And how about board members? Any more questions? Steve?
I think you did a good job pulling it up a bit and limiting, 1,400, but then you have to take into account if they do a little creep in the future, so now you've,
Yep.
I think it's good.
You're looking at like,
I'm sorry, could you wait to be recognized by the chair and raise your hand? You can't just speak up, because I won't listen to you if you don't. Yes, state your name again, please, and your
my name
address.
is the same as
Look, the person who views this isn't here, who does the minutes. She has to know your name. All she can see right now is the back of someone's head. She doesn't know who's talking.
Rebecca O'Melia.
And your address, please.
81 Old Farm Road. How many feet long is, you're talking about a proposed riprap wall, like the entire length, pretty much of that whole side of the lot line? I mean, do you
Is that for this,
understand?
is that for this lot?
Yes, this lot, you're talking
Why don't
about,
you come up and point to it so the commission knows
50
what you're
feet is
talking about?
within
you're
our
talking about a
jurisdiction.
10-foot wide rock basin.
Can you point to it on here?
I don't. He's showing this
Yeah.
up here, and he's saying that it's somewhere in here.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's right.
That's a swale, yes.
Okay. And how many feet long is this? What's the scale of
50.
this? It's not shown on here.
It's 50 feet
So
in our
that's-
jurisdiction.
50 feet.
The rest is outside of our jurisdiction.
Oh. What do you mean it's outside of your
This is
jurisdiction?
our jurisdiction from here to the wetland.
So the wa-
So all this is not in our jurisdiction. We
50
can't
feet of the
discuss that, but we can discuss this part of it.
okay.
Bottom third
We
of
can't talk
Rebecca's-
about any of this. That is not in our jurisdiction. We only have from 100 foot to the wetland.
Okay. But it's still gonna dump, a ton of water will be in this
But what's
whole
the
area.
question? What is your question exactly?
So you,
It's not, this is not shown on this
It
plan.
is, it's the green lines here, and then what we do is we ask for a detail, which they put over here. But
Rebecca,
they,
if I-
they put clarification up
If I
here.
superimpose
There
this
should be
onto
a-
that, Rebecca, I think there would be too much information. I could have done that. So what I decided to do was just take those grades, put them over here, that's the black line, with the contours graded, and then showed the bottom as the riprap, as, just for clarity.
And you have it called out on the plan too, right?
Yep.
Where that black arrow is.
Yep, it's the lot lines are shown, yep. The lot line information is shown.
And you have your stockpile area at the purple X
Yep,
and
yep.
circle.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's
Outside the
still
buffer.
going to dump a ton of water down at wherever the bottom of it is.
I had clarified
Not
that.
sure where the
there's-
bottom of that is. It's on,
we
it
have,
appears to be both lots, so. There's a lot of overlapping contour lines shown down in this corner, which I don't know what happens there.
yeah.
Well, the rocks in the swale are going to slow it down.
Yeah, but if the neighboring lot is lower than that, then all the water goes wherever it's the lowest, wherever the lowest point is. It doesn't care if it's a rock or.
Yeah, but we have contour lines that show us where that's gonna be, and so
Where's
we're,
it gonna?
it's gonna go to the
Where it's gonna
wetland.
be.
It's gonna go to the wetland.
Which is where we
The
want it.
That's where we want the water to
Any
go.
water coming from the street?
Is there any water coming from
Yeah.
the street? No.
No, but just down the
No,
slope.
so
It's
the
up.
amount of water coming there is the water that drops onto the property.
And-
From the side of the, yes,
And-
from a little bit of the, yeah. We have
Yeah,
a
the
front load, we have a
driveway.
front load driveway, and
In
then
the
so.
grading.
What's
Driveway.
contributing to this is this here and this here. Perk rates are, 4 and 8 minutes an inch here, so we have gravel here, roadway is here, catch basins are in here. So we're only gonna capture this little bit of water here. So what's contributing to this is probably half of the driveway and side slope here, side slope here.
No, that's a good point.
Right?
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
very little.
So every driveway in the neighborhood, when it rains, it has water shedding off, going either the neighbor's yard, it's going somewhere.
Yep.
It's kind of the same scenario.
Yep. So with your permission, I'd like to leave this open a little bit until, I don't know what your pleasure is, but we're chatting right next door. That grading is kind of wrapped into this grading. So if we could leave that open and when you're ready, move to that next lot, the 64, if that's okay.
Do we have
Okay,
to
we can-
continue it?
yeah.
What do we do? Or can we
Continue.
postpone it till the next hour or the next
Yeah.
15, half hours?
Till 7:45.
Is that a motion?
Okay.
Well, do you want to give Steve?
Yeah, you don't, 7:45 is fine.
I have more questions.
Oh, all right, we still have another question here.
Yes. What about, like, all the work going on inside the wetland zone, like this whole area?
So we've moved the limit of work from the purple to the yellow, and the work that's here is in conjunction with the septic system. So these proposed grades in the green are necessary for septic, and then wrapping the grades right into the house for elevation, backyard, but that's necessary for septic.
The septic encroaches on the 50-foot buffer, and there's
Well,
That's why they're
bunch of
filing.
work adjacent to.
So the system needs to be 50 feet away from the trenching itself needs to be 50 feet away from the wetland, which it is, but yes, the grading is within the 50 feet.
It encroaches like halfway into it, like more than 30
And what's our
feet.
setback for grading? It's 20?
Well, it's a 25 no
25.
build.
Well, you could
No,
fill
it's
a
50
wetland.
no build.
Yeah, no
Lines,
build, meaning building
But you'd
something,
have to
so,
do- Yeah.
and so we don't have the 25 on here, but I'm guessing your limited disturbance is really close to that, right?
Right.
Why don't you give it to us?
We're 22 feet from that flag to that yellow.
Right, and that's the farthest that it's out. So they've pretty much stayed outside of our 25 no-build zone, so they've done a good job doing what we need them to do.
Well, that's not the only area where it can flood, is it? Okay, no, it's the next. Now, what about the southern part of the site too?
That was the closest they got to the wetlands, so that's the only part that would even be remotely close, and he just said it was 22, so they've met that requirement. Do we have any other questions, or can we move on to the next
Yeah.
one?
Mike?
So the yellow line up there,
This right here? Yeah.
yes, more or less does conform to like the 25.
Yes, this would be the 22 right here. Yeah. And then we're further away, and the 50 foot is there.
We don't know, the 25-foot buffer is shown on the plan, so we can't really.
They just measured it out, so we
don't
know.
require the 25.
But we can measure halfway to the 50, so we know where the 25 is with the ruler. This thing is
You
to
just
scale,
scaled it.
so.
Well, why is the 50 marked then if the 50 isn't the
Because
buffer
it's
zone?
part of our regulations, just for the 50 and the 100. We don't require the 25 to be marked on the plan.
No, but I mean, what do you require not be disturbed? What, I don't understand.
Within the
It's
25.
Within the
moving target.
25.
You're going from 50,
No,
now
we
you're saying
just-
25.
We're answering you. We're answering you. You
Okay.
have to listen to the answers. So as soon as you asked that, everybody just said the 25 foot. So that's the answer, no build within the 25. But you have to mark the 50 on the plan for us. These are all things that we've asked for.
No?
That's not what I was
Unless you
told.
wanted
I was
to
told
say
it- No, that's okay. Nope.
All right. If it pleases the chairwoman,
Yes?
I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing for 68 Woodland Road.
No, 60.
60 Woodland
Wait,
Road.
continue or postpone?
I said, well, continue. I was gonna say till 7:45.
Okay. I'm sorry, that's
Today at
fine.
7:40.
Motion been made
Second.
and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we
Sorry, I
have
lost my agenda already.
a public
keep
hearing
looking at her agenda.
continuation for 64 Woodland Road, Deer Crossing Development.
So-
State your name again.
Yep, Dave Microdot, 64 Woodland. Lot 30B. Lot lines have remained exactly the same, highlighted in the light blue. Driveway is still a side load left, exact same location, same elevations as previous. House is exactly same location. Footing drain is exactly the same. Shed is exactly the same. Septic has been approved. Septic tank is exactly the same. We have an isolated wetland here previously discussed. Deck and everything else is exactly the same. We have once again, limit of work was the purple and the yellow, so we've moved it up just a little bit and went from here to here. That dash line is once again our split rail fence that we propose all the way here. We talked previously about it was way down against the edge of limit of work, and we decided to move it up to allow some snow. So basically, it was sort of crisscrossing
Right.
through the lot coming down.
Actually, I had written down, put fence behind shed.
They did it here. They hugged it up here. It used to be way down. They hugged it up.
Yep.
And then here we said, pull it out, but we gave them to the 40 to allow for a little bit of snow. So this
okay.
matches what we asked for.
What is the purpose of this split rail fence?
I'm sorry, could you let him finish his preparation, please, and raise your hand so you can be recognized?
Why is there so much discussion about a split rail fence and what is?
They look for an anti-creep.
The connection doesn't.
A what?
Just go ahead.
No, I mean, but
So that
you gotta
as
realize
time goes
it.
on, they sell the lot. Why is there a split rail fence in the middle of the lot?
Of antique?
Yeah.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna ask you to do this
Wouldn't matter.
Gotcha.
With the board.
from now on. Everything you say to this direction, and we can
I'll direct
answer
everything to
questions
the
when
chair.
they're acknowledged.
Got
Thanks.
it. Yeah. So we talked about the limit of work in this particular area, if we could move that up, and we couldn't because we needed that for grading. But we agreed to move the split rail fence up as our anti-creep further away and to be 40 feet. So we're splitting, if you will, kind of cutting across the lot behind the shed, which is same size, same location. Split rail fence up to here. Buffer zone is the 100 foot is here. System is approved. We have a small swale here. Perk rates of 4 to 5 minutes an inch here. Stockpile here, outside the buffer zone. A lot of what's changed is up in this area here, we had some grading from before. So we have a decrease in the amount of work in the buffer zone of 1,628 square feet.
So I may have missed it. What was the associated grading with the lot before that you wanted to keep that open?
Well, the grading, this swale is attached to the grading necessary for the driveway. So I just wanted to leave that open just a hair, that hearing open just a hair, in case we had to talk about anything else related to the driveway or related to the swale. We could go back to it.
Right.
That was all. So if you're satisfied
The
with
water's
this.
staying on this lot.
Yes, yep. So this water here is coming here.
Yeah, I can't really see it more so.
Yeah, I know.
Between the property lines,
Yeah.
the grading between the driveway
one or
and
this
the,
one?
yeah, that
It's
one.
really hard to.
So it's running along this.
So what's happening with the
side.
grading on, how is the grading associated with the other grading? So the other grading is caused by this driveway going in?
So they're working together.
Yeah.
Right. So when this lot is developed, they need to, if you will, sort of get this side of the driveway to grade in order to have that work and function. So,
But there's no runoff towards the swale from this lot?
no,
Okay,
no.
alright. Okay, yeah, I know. I think it's.
That was all, just in
an
case a question
improvement
came up,
from
that's
the
all.
first time.
I do too.
So it's graded lower than the first lot? Why is there no water movement from, you said there's no,
This water's coming here.
yeah,
This is the path of the water that's gonna happen tomorrow after built. This is coming this way, this is coming this way, this is coming this way. Coming down the driveway, across, and here.
The swale is gonna stop the water, so it'll be graded towards the
Collecting it before it
swale
hits the
from
house.
the property line to the swale, going along. That's out of our jurisdiction anyway.
no, I'm just curious, the scale,
Swell.
The stale swale.
The swell is on the first property,
Yes.
60 Woodward, okay, so,
Yes.
and we're talking about the driveway for the second property,
That's right.
okay. And you said there's no movement of that water over to the
That's correct.
swell?
Independent, yep.
Is that a paved driveway?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes, state your name, please.
Rebecca O'Melia. Can anybody comment about the septic system, part of it being in the wetlands, and it's a pump that requires electricity? So, in other words, this house, the septic system is up higher than the house, and the pump for that is going to be in the wetlands buffer zone. So in other words,
In the buffer zone, it doesn't matter.
It's necessary for a buildable lot.
I don't
be
understand the
serviced.
question. I don't understand.
So
well,
things,
isn't there's something labeled PC, which is a pump control
Yep.
for the septic system, which is in the wetlands buffer.
things are
In other
allowed
words,
in the
if you-
wetlands buffer. If we allow it, they can put things in the buffer. They just can't put, our no build is that 25 from the wetland. This is in the 50, between the 50 and 100. We can allow things in there.
It's within the 50-foot buffer zone.
We can
If the
allow,
power went out, the
We can
septic
allow
wouldn't be
things-
pumping, it would back up towards the house.
we can allow things to be within the 50. It's outside, it's just can't be within the
You
25.
can, but you don't have to.
Right, but we can, and we have said that it
But
makes
you don't
sense.
have to.
And we've said that it makes sense, so we are going to allow it because it's not causing any
Having-
kind of
That's Board of
damage.
Health jurisdiction.
Having a
The
septic
well's not
that
gonna work
pumps
either.
waste using electricity within the wetlands buffer zone is allowed.
Within a buffer zone, yes, not within a wetland, but within a buffer
It's
zone.
not well advised.
If the well is, if
Is
they
there-
don't have electricity, the well is not gonna run. They will have no water. There's a
Right.
pump chamber that is
Right.
allowing for storage for a certain amount of time. It's all regulated by the Board of Health, nothing to do with us.
I lost my power for 30 hours. I was still able to flush. If
How
my
many
septic
times?
system,
How many times were you
I'm
able to?
sorry, I'm gonna keep, I just would refuse to go down this road. It is permittable if we permit it,
Okay.
and we have permitted it. So do you have a question?
yeah, why was it permitted?
Because it's, we do not believe it's an impact to the wetland, and we've done, it's functioned
plus it's approved.
throughout the entire town on countless other properties. It functions well for everybody.
Like what other properties?
I'm not gonna give you names and
Okay, it
numbers.
doesn't function when there's no electricity.
It has
just
been
had a situation
permitted
where we had
throughout the town,
no
and
such-
that's our judgment call.
Okay.
That's our judgment call.
Okay.
You've
I don't
asked,
think it's a fair
Well, it's-
judgment. We
well then, you know,
routinely go without
and I'm not sure
power,
that we've
so-
said this again, but let me say it again. So you should join the Conservation Commission and get on here and vote on here.
Okay.
But right
Maybe I
now,
will.
that is our judgment call, and so
Okay.
once you ask us why and we tell you why, we're pretty much done.
Okay.
So can we go to the next question?
Yeah.
And if you don't like our decision, you have 21 days to appeal to the DEP.
Okay.
So,
Can you comment about what the split rail fence is for?
it's like a barrier to tell people, please don't mow your lawn beyond the fence, or don't dump your clippings. It's just a visual thing, so
Is
we
it-
don't get lawn creep.
Is it wooden?
Split rail means it's wooden.
I haven't seen any other fences like that in the neighborhood.
Get a vinyl one.
You could. We
Haven't
did
seen any.
one, we did one up at 91 Old Farm Road.
Five houses away.
71 Old Farm Road, Scott Shea, right up the street from you. It was same approach here, was split rail fence, 8 feet long. They're new to the neighborhood, like second to the house down in from the old section.
Well, it's something that we've permitted in the past.
I'm just
Yeah.
wondering what the purpose was and why there was so much concern about that.
Anything else? Okay.
Um,
So we can also now, the board is all set?
Yes. Steve, you're
Steve?
all set?
Any other questions?
You did a great job revising the plans.
Okay, so we need to close the 60.
Do we have any conditions on this?
I think so. I mean, they're standard.
If it's your pleasure, I'll close 64, then we'll go back to 60,
Yeah.
so I can reopen that.
Okay.
So I will make a motion to close the public hearing and issue the order of conditions for 64 Woodland Road.
Second?
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then, well, actually, you can open it.
Open the public hearing for 60 Woodland Road.
I will make a motion to close the public hearing and issue the order of conditions for 60 Woodland Road.
Second?
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that one's done. Now we have 68. We have a public hearing continuation for 68 Woodland Road, Day Crossing Development.
Right, Dave Microdot again. 68 Woodland, also known as Lot 29A, 29B. On March 5th, we had a same-size house, which happens to be 2 feet narrower than the other lots that we talked about. Recapping what happened before is we had a driveway side load left, which necessitated a very large wall on the left-hand side against that portion of the isolated wetland. This is what we had previously. Okay, we had the isolated wetland, we had the wall. Steve brought up the idea of maybe flipping it around, side load right. So we're here tonight, we've gone through the exercise. We think it's a better approach. So once again, stockpile is outside. And the house is exactly the same as it was. Driveway is a little bit shorter in length. The house has been moved up about 7 feet towards the street. And our limit of our work previously, once again, was the purple. So we had a lot of work done up in this little triangle here, necessitated for that lot. Retaining wall here. So we flipped it. Deck is the same. The shed used to be here, outside the 50. We've moved it here and further away from the wetland. The well used to be here. Now the well is moved over to here. So we've brought this whole line up to the yellow. So we've, in effect, decreased that amount of work on the left side of the lot. Grading behind the lot, and the height of the house is exactly the same as it was previously. Steve has the plan as part of the packet, but we had provided a detention basin. There was a question about potential flooding from the detention basin up into this lot. If I could borrow that for a second, Steve. What you'll see is that the detention basin is down 13.5 feet lower than the slab elevation of the house. So we feel that there's no flooding issue whatsoever.
What's the circle in the backyard? It looks like a circle. It's graded in a circle.
Stop me when I get close.
No, the first one.
Oh, front.
Here?
Yeah. What's that?
This is the grading that we had for
What
the
does that say,
backyard.
foundation drain?
Footing.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah,
footing drain,
we have a
okay.
footing drain here. Once again, temporary disturbance. Well went from here to there.
And you
Moved
get a
everything-
slurry pit and you have erosion control around that?
Yep,
slurry?
we have it on our septic. This is the same, almost the same time, stripped down a little bit for presentation. But
Okay.
the plans that you folks have are these.
Okay.
But yes, there is always a siltation.
And then where the stockpile area is and the septic, is that a wall?
Yep,
Like
we had,
dash green line?
yep, we had a wall there previously, because we had too much cover over the septic.
We requested a smaller retaining wall.
Yeah, on that, from the other side. So, what's the height now on those retaining walls compared
Yep.
to before?
Just one sec. So we're orientated like that. Same house is on this plan. Detention basin is down in here. Elevation of the floor of the pond is at 556. Slab elevation is 569.5. So this
Yeah.
is 13.5 feet lower than
Nowhere
that.
near it.
So, and then there's wetlands between it. So we don't feel that this water is going to get to here. If it
No.
does, there's a problem with Rhode Island.
Rhode Island rising.
Is the outer green bubble, the wetland edge?
This here? Yes, this is the wetland edge,
And
yeah, an
the-
isolated wetland here. So what we've done now is we had one wall that was 11 foot high here. So what we've done is we've put a two-tiered wall. We have one wall here. There was a concern before that the retaining wall was very, almost on top of the sideline of the driveway. What we did on this one is we maintained 6 feet from the driveway to the start of the wall. So we have a 7.5 foot high wall here, 6 foot spacing, and then a 5 foot wall here. And brings the limit of work about 3 feet off that wetland flag, which should be, limit of work would be that straw. So we feel that this is a safer wall than what we had before. So we took it a step further with an exercise. Same lot. Okay. System is exactly the same. And what we tried to do is we had, what's controlling the elevation of this wall is a driveway grade. Okay? So this driveway grade is controlling that slab elevation. So what we tried to do was put the driveway back a little bit further. So what we tried to do was we tried to rotate that a little bit. Side load, as you can see right, this wall here is anywhere from 3 to 5 feet off, not to 6 feet off. But if the concern was about that flag, this wall is 14 feet high. So it's an exercise. We took one more stab at it, one more exercise. So we had a 11, two-tiered, and then a 14. So we feel that this wall from safety, 6 foot, with the landings in snow, gives them the opportunity to put a guardrail if they so choose, or it actually...
It's not a choice, it's a building code.
I'm sorry, could you not speak out, please, and let him do his presentation to the board? Go ahead, continue, please.
Yep, thank you. So we did some soul searching on the comparisons from the exercise of 14, exercise back previously proposed is 11, and decided to go with the safety of the 6 foot, 7.5, 5 foot, with a 6 foot landing in between.
And as you move the house forward and reduce the driveway length,
Well, yeah.
what does that do?
It brings it up.
Yeah, so
So we're higher,
what are you at, the slope for the driveway?
we're like 11 right here. We're 10 here, we're 11 here, and we're certainly flatter there. But, you know, here's our contour, so didn't want to go too steep, but closer we come up, the higher it gets, brings this up. This comes up, we gotta raise one of the walls. We don't want to do
And,
that, so.
I don't want to redesign your project while you're here, but front entry, garage loading, would that help
Yeah.
anything?
Yeah, well, then we're driving right over our
Angling.
system. And we have a-
Angling the house?
Like, why can't you
Yeah.
have the,
Yeah,
driveway more that way?
yeah. Well, we need that, we
And
need,
a straight in.
we're on the side of our septic's on the side of a hill, so we have our trenches coming down, and this grading here is required for that. So, if we were to do something like that,
And no poly barrier, you didn't propose one?
no, we didn't need one.
I know, and I'm just
Yeah.
trying to figure out.
Formulate some thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went with a smaller house to begin
I
with,
know.
in the buffer zone, so we didn't want to encroach on the 50, so we sacrificed some house.
Well,
we
you
had
can
a
always
little
do
bit
a
of room there.
shotgun style house. Doesn't need to be like a rectangle,
Yeah.
unless there's covenants that I don't know about in the subdivision.
Not that I'm aware of. Tim Nealon should be here, but obviously he's not coming this evening.
It's really difficult to
Can I see
hold
the
that
original one?
3 feet from the
That's crazy.
wetline.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
If that's an
So we-
actual line, like a finger-like projection over there, it's really,
Yeah,
Tough.
so we looked at shortening up the landing from wall 1 to wall 2, from 6 to something, and we could do that. We played around with some different type of houses that you folks haven't seen yet, but the system is kind of locking us in a little bit. And then that retaining wall in the front is needed for height.
You could
So-
reduce the breakout,
What's
right,
the
with the
rule
poly
about-
barrier, and then
Can
you
this be
could.
closer to the 50? On the other one, but either way, can the septic be slid closer to the 50, or is there some reason why it can't
Well-
hub closer?
On this one.
On either of
no,
them.
I mean,
On either of them,
you've
if it
got the
shimmied
well.
this way, you'd have more freedom with your driveway and how it approached the house.
You got the next
So if we go to
well on the next door.
pop over to this one, sorry.
You're holding the 100 at the well.
Just curious about whether this, is that what was holding?
Yeah.
That, where's the well? Way
If
over.
you saw the previous one, next door.
So but it's here now.
No, the next door neighbor one.
Oh, right.
it's way out in the back, so we
Yeah.
have plenty of distance.
So,
I thought
yeah, so
that-
can this
oh.
be bopped over? Is there anything preventing that, I guess is what I'm asking, moving the septic this direction so that there's more freedom to explore an approach to the house if this were not, because you didn't want to,
Straight shot in.
because you don't want to drive
We don't
over your
want to drive
septic.
over, right, or the tank.
So if
right.
we can shimmy it over to the 50 here,
Yeah, we can,
I'm just wondering, this is really problematic, and
Okay.
this is where we start to lose our advantage that we gained here,
right,
which makes us go back to the original one.
correct.
And although that wall is not ideal by any stretch,
So-
this is a real problem for us.
Then let us see if we can modify the system, and we may not take it all the way to the 50, we may use some judgment and move it maybe 10 to 20 feet, not
see what
take
you
that
can
all the
do.
way to the line. And we'll just look to slide it over, and then we'll look to twist that a little bit. Obviously, the idea is to move that this way
Yeah.
and move that that
Yeah.
way.
So
Yeah.
what are we looking to hold from that wetland flag over there? Because I don't
Good
want you to
question.
come back
Exactly.
and,
25 feet.
I mean,
That's what we
you
would
have a
like.
lot of room within the 50. I know you like a backyard, but if you reconfigured the house design, and
Yeah.
as long as, I mean, you could do a shotgun style house, just like they did over at Chestnut. So it was the straight shotting, you can still have your garage, you can, you know,
We'll take a
if
step at that.
if the developer's open to that style,
If we were to try to achieve,
25. Let's see where that is.
Yeah.
Where does that
Yeah,
land
that's
us?
really what we're,
So you've got
Where the purple line is.
redrawing.
Where the old,
Yeah.
where the old no
let's-
disturb line was.
yeah, let's see what they
Sorry
can do.
about that, but 3 feet is like my arm.
well, yeah, we,
Is my arm 3 feet?
Yep.
Two and a
that's
half.
about it. Anybody have any questions? Yes, name please.
Rebecca O'Melia. I see a problem with the water all from the driveway heading towards the house. All the water would be in front of the garage. And then this entire rock wall system is completely unsafe and would not,
Well,
it
we
could
just,
not be built this way. It would be a complete it would have to have guardrails the entire length of it.
he's going to
And
be, if you were just
It's not
listening to
feasible.
his reconfiguration that we asked him to do, that might all be eliminated.
It's still gonna be an issue because you can't have.
Well, if it doesn't exist,
He's gonna have a helicopter pad instead.
he's got to come back in with a new plan for the driveway and that wall.
Yeah.
So we'll
I
have
think
to
we're
look
gonna
at it at the next meeting.
Yeah, we have to see
Address
what he
that.
comes up with.
Can't give you an answer now because it's gonna change.
Yeah, all that work is within the buffer zone too, almost the entire wall, and all these grade changes.
That's correct.
And then in addition to that, tonight, nobody has mentioned the fact that these are proposed lots. This isn't even the shape of the lots as they exist right now or are approved. I'm a little bit confused too why the town refers to them as different. These plans say like 29B. All his numbers are with a B, 29, 30, and 31B, but the town has them all as 29, 30, and 31A. So I'm a little confused why the numbering system doesn't match. And then there's a lot of work too, also on this side. This is all in the all the grade changes.
That's another lot. We've already closed that one.
No, over here. He has a bunch of work that's going on in the wetlands.
So
Just to the side of the house.
just, I'll let us finish, you know.
Are you all set?
This whole area is all excavation within the.
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
Well, that is.
Do you have a question about it?
Yeah, it goes right up to the edge of the wetland, so that wouldn't be allowed either.
No, it's allowed if we permit it, it's allowed. Right now, it's not allowed, that's why they're filing,
It's got the other plan, no.
This is the plan.
so that we can protect the wetlands.
And then we keep referring to this island of wetlands that he's labeled in the middle as isolated wetlands, which they are not. We talked about that at the last meeting, and I looked at it in person, and this whole area is wet. That is connected to the wetlands to the south of it. So this and this are all connected. It's not this and that. It's all one.
Okay.
Not that it doesn't change the buffer. It
That's
doesn't change the edges of the buffer, but it's a different classification. It's not an isolated wetlands.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I had a question about the drainage from the foundation. That's allowed to go back across the property to the wetlands as well?
The foundation drains?
Yes.
Where do you
The
think they
perimeter.
should go?
I'm just asking.
Oh,
Yes.
oh,
The
all
answer is
right.
yes.
And an ORAD was issued on this property, right, for the whole subdivision, and it did not show that it was an isolated until after you took a look at it, right?
That's correct.
So, we'd
So-
already agreed upon the back
All three of these
BBW line.
lots, all three of these lots were approved.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
So we did an INRAD, then we
Yeah.
did a subdivision approval, and then we did 3 individual lots, and this is the first time it's come up.
Okay.
So, does,
Something has changed during construction, maybe?
is the board looking for an answer on that isolated wetland? Okay.
I think that it allows for the same protection as the BBW, so it doesn't really,
Yep.
either way.
You had something you were gonna state before, or?
I think I'll just wait
Okay.
and rework it into the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
And the difference between A and B?
Difference in A and B, difference in A and B is just a revision on the lot. So as we do more revisions, the lot becomes 29A
Break it
to
up.
29B. So we've had some discussions with Bill. The lots have not been officially signed off by the planning board, but we had discussions with Bill. He did go over the plan briefly with Tim Nealon over a month ago. It's not on the docket yet, but it's soon to be on the docket to have these lots approved. Bill did not see any issues.
Oh,
from
some
what I
of these
remember.
lots are not even on a road that's been built
I'm
yet.
sorry, if you could please just raise your hand and wait to be recognized, wait till the speakers have stopped talking, don't interrupt. You get it?
8:30.
Okay, anybody else have any questions in the audience? Yes? State your name, please.
Rebecca O'Meara. I'm not sure what he's presenting, but I know that not all of these lots have been approved, and they're in a no-build zone as far as they're on a road that has not been completed, and the plans to complete that road are not even in the works. So that's another whole separate issue from the conservation issues, but it is definitely a big issue with getting planning approval.
Well, what we are approving and what we will sign is what they have to build according to the plan. So they can't start building till they get all that stuff done. That's not our job to approve A&Rs. We're not the planning board. So until they
Right,
get
but
that
he's saying
done,
that
they
it's all
can't
been
build it
approved and
because the
it
lots
hasn't.
don't exist.
Okay, but he's saying it's all been approved and it hasn't.
Have those lots been released?
No. I think these two have the ability to be released. What she's alluding to is that there's a zone line, not a zone line, a phase line
Yeah.
that's about here. Phase 5 is here, Phase 6 is here. Phase 6 has not been released by the planning board. We feel that these two lots are buildable currently with pavement and have been released. This lot is not.
But you've already showed it to the town engineer, and he doesn't see an issue.
Yeah, an A&R plan, just to get the line signed, you can do it at any point. The legality of building it, it's up to the planning board. They have to release that lot to be
Correct.
built on, and they have not done that. So
Yeah.
you can approve it, with it-
Yes.
before they can build it, they have to go back to planning to get it released.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so anybody else
So
questions?
when you, technically, when you're gonna go to planning board, create the A&Rs before you record the NOIs?
I think the planning board is meeting next Tuesday. We're gonna try to get on to, I spoke to Bill today,
Huh.
and talk about getting the application over to Bill and get on that agenda for next Tuesday.
But will you record the order of conditions after you record the,
Well,
so it follows the booking
Yeah,
page,
yeah,
follows the
yeah.
new lot lines?
Yes, yeah. Yep. You're gonna reference a house number, so it's always gonna be tied into, 60, 64, 68.
Okay, so we need to continue this.
Yeah, it's gonna reference the plan, the last plan, revised plan date anyway.
Exactly, yep.
Okay, you'll have, it correspond with the approved plan from planning board. Okay, I will make a motion to continue the public hearing for 68 Woodland Road to April 17th at 7:50 PM.
Second, third.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
750, you said?
7:50,
What was the date?
5-0.
4/17.
Tuesday. That's a Tuesday, it'll be
Tuesday.
Yes.
Patriots Day.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're running, right?
I wish I could.
Okay.
Wish I could. Thank you.
Not too far. Thank you. Okay, next we have a public hearing for 42 Huff Road. Bonnie Johnson? Anybody here for,
Is this new?
oh, okay.
I know. Is this new?
No, it's a continued.
Yeah, let me go back and find that one.
Continued. We had needed a revised plan for the erosion control. I think that was 2 meetings ago.
Oh, I'm digging too far, too far.
Got a couple extras in the revised plan as well.
Oh, you just didn't have a number last time.
Right, we're waiting on a DEP file number, which we now have.
Awesome. Wonderful.
So
Any
the only-
comments?
The only thing that changed on the plan was the revised erosion control to be at the tree line. We're not cutting any trees. And we did add a stockpile area outside the 100-foot in the event that they stockpile.
So
Any
I-
comments from DEP? I'm waiting for her. No, I think we covered everything with the conditions that we discussed. We're not gonna do the condition that there be no stockpiling because you found a spot. There's no paving still, right?
No comments from DEP.
Okay, I'll make a motion to issue close the public hearing and issue the order of conditions for 42 Huff Road with stockpiling outside the 100, no grading, and erosion control as shown on the plan dated
Dated February 8th, 2018.
February
revised. Yep, revised March 28th, 2018.
revised March 28th.
Second.
So built according to the plan.
Yeah, just the revised date of March 28th because he added the erosion control.
So plan. All right, so motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
It's
That's it. So
Thank you. Do you have these?
Now
I just
say
didn't
you
know
on
if
that.
she had drafted the,
I believe so.
she drafted the order, just make sure we have the right date. March 20th.
Yep.
Okay.
So you're 64 Depot?
Yep.
And did we already do that one too? Is this a continuation or new?
Filing.
Thank you. Save me from digging through the paperwork.
Okay, next we have a 64 Depot Street public hearing, let's say 15, for Hagsmouth Realty Trust. Thank you. The Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing for Leslie Stevens on April 2nd, 2018 at 8:15 PM in the Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, MGL 131, Section 40. Proposed work is to be done at 64 Depot Street and involves the construction of a single-family house with septic system, associated earthwork, landscaping, and utilities within the 100-foot buffer zone. Okay, could you introduce yourself?
Good evening, Travis Brown of Andrews Survey and Engineering here on behalf of the applicant Les Stevens for a single-family lot at 64 Depot Street. Just for plan reference purposes, Depot Street is here on the top of the page. We have a BVW towards the rear of the property. Pink line represents a 25-foot buffer, orange is 50, and the outer orange would be the 100. We're proposing to put a single-family house in this location outside of the 50-foot buffer zone. We have a proposed driveway from Depot Street here. There's actually sewer and water available in Depot Street that we'll tie into, so there's no private septic system. Our erosion control is this thick dashed black line here. We stay outside of the 25 for the most, well, outside of 25 altogether. We're just within the 50-foot. There's some brush type stuff in this area. We've actually located trees that are like 5-inch caliper or bigger. We show those either to remain or also to be removed. So there's about 6 trees within the 100-foot buffer, between the 100 and then just inside the 50-foot buffer that will need to be removed. For the most part, this is, brush and things up to about the top of this slope. So we're not quite going back to the top of the slope in this area, but to give them a backyard, we go up to the 25-foot buffer zone. We are proposing a stockpile area outside the 100-foot buffer zone in this location here. And that's the most.
Could you tell me about your tree line that you're showing in the backyard?
This tree line here.
Yeah, and then what is this? And then what is existing?
Yeah, so this is an existing, brush line. I drove
Okay.
by there, there's no trees any bigger than
Leaving
5-inch caliper
Okay.
in that location, and the ones that are bigger than that in here, we've located, so the rest of this area is smaller brush type vegetation.
That's the house they did last summer.
Downtown is this way?
That's this way. Yeah.
Could we go back to what things you're cutting down? Are all those? So you have the bank, the top there?
Yep.
Where those logs are? Is that where you're stopping?
Yes, that's pretty close to where we're stopping. Yep, at the top of the slope.
And then nothing in there?
No, so that's down all over the bank.
So the one
On that
comment
side,
from
so-
DEP, did you see the comment from DEP?
Yeah, I do have data sheets that were performed that we provided with the other filing. And I could
That's what I figured, it was part
provide
of the other
those.
wetland.
Yeah.
We have a copy then?
Yep,
For our
absolutely.
files, thank you.
So you've got that tree, are you taking down, that evergreen?
Yes.
And the
What- Yeah, see, it
bushes right
wasn't,
there?
the house wasn't staked, that's the only thing, but it looks like it pushed more towards the pavement.
Yeah, in fact, to stay out of the 50-foot buffer zone that you require, we needed to get a ZBA variance, which has been approved. So this building is about
Yeah,
35
I got
feet
one
off the
here.
front
Who's on that?
property line.
Oh, no wonder. Okay, so you really got
Is there
So
minimal
no water,
clearing
no
that
water,
we're
sewer,
planning.
no septic, no well.
Right.
Just a foundation, and
So
the yard's pretty much already
this
been.
lot over here
I
ended
have
up
a picture of the tree that's
encroaching.
remaining.
I got a video, I mean, I can go to, so which tree's remaining?
There's one at the
To the right of the lot,
top
at
of
the
the
top
slope.
of On the right side, along the right sideline. Is that it?
Shout out when you see it.
Yeah, it's, I think it's just off the
Over here?
page.
Keep going.
No, it'd be
like,
I think
closer to, it's
the
closer to
left of that.
water.
Right.
It's right
Other
before
way.
the drop off.
Other way. No.
You don't think it's one of those out there?
It may be that furthest one that's at the top of the slope.
Yeah, let's see the video.
Let's take a walk together.
Did I run over your toe?
Almost.
Oh, okay. Almost doesn't count.
So, you know what, they're gonna have questions. I'm gonna go back and think.
Smart man, smart man. He's like, this is not my first rodeo.
Well, where's the tree?
I think it's
I don't
that
know,
green one
I'm trying
behind
to
the
get every
bush,
one I see.
right?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is that green.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Yeah, they kind of made like that border, so you're gonna stay within that.
Yeah. Fortunately, they cut everything down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, okay.
Wait, which,
The
where?
tall one,
Yeah,
the pine?
the big one right there.
That's it, are you sure? That doesn't look like it's on the edge.
Well, the scale, it's on the flat. It's on the flat.
Oh, it's like tripping right. No, I think it's one of those farther ones. Maybe that little dude there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess either
Tree to
way, we're not-
remain.
Yeah, we're not cutting it.
Yeah, so it's
We're-
remaining.
Right, but
going
it's
here.
giving me a sense of scale.
Oh,
I'm trying to
I don't
figure
know.
out how much is being cleared and knowing what's
Maybe it's
right.
that one.
Maybe it's that oak we just
Yeah.
saw?
Yeah, I think it's something right out there on that slope.
It's just right on the top of the drop.
There.
There it is, right there.
There. On the left,
The
yeah.
one with the
That one right
moss
there?
on it.
Yeah.
I think I did like 4 circles.
Right? You got it. You
Yeah.
got 'em.
Okay, so that makes a little more
Yeah, I'm
sense.
not sure
'Cause
that's
I
it
can-
either,
That's
but
still far out.
that's
though.
kind of down the
That's
slope.
down the
Yeah.
slope.
I think it's a little
That
further.
would be too close.
So
Well, this is close enough that I sort of feel like a site walk would be appropriate because we're bumping right up close and not to say there's any problem with it, just, you know,
Well, stake the house and then you know.
right. And I mean, really, what I really am interested in is also staking the clearing because
Well, they will-
you're
they-
staying under the 50, so I'm happy with that.
Stake the-
I'm curious about this. I kind of want to see what's being taken out here.
So if you
and
stake
how
the erosion
close that
controls,
looks.
then you'd know.
Yes, limit of work is what I'm really interested in.
So
That line.
this lot, we had an issue where there was some encroachment. So the erosion control line wasn't quite where the plan said it was gonna be.
Yeah, if I remember right, it wasn't off terribly far, but
It was, probably 10 feet in that one section. On the one side there. Do you remember, Brandon? No.
I think I do, but I'm not sure that I am thinking of the right one.
Les came in
What's that?
for a certificate of compliance over here,
I think so.
and it was, so we just wanna make sure that
Yeah,
this
so
stays
we have
with
reason to-
whatever,
to Be sure we all.
cause I don't know
agree
who put in the
exactly where
erosion
that
control
is.
line, but marking it.
yeah, I don't know. what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, well, I would assume
Right here.
Yeah.
it wasn't,
So
yeah.
the plants where the
Oh, you're good.
I see.
Damn, you're good. Wow, just like that.
Oh,
Yes, I
and
remember
maybe-
that 100%.
Do you have anything proposed for a physical barrier?
No. Top of the bank with a
So you did
mature
it,
trees.
this one you did.
Well, see, the top of the bank you say, but that's over here. You see the problem with what you say and what's on. You say, well, the top of the bank will slow them down, but we didn't
plants
approve
were
anybody to
good,
go way
right?
the hell out
next
here,
door.
Yeah,
right?
I hear you.
And there's our problem, is that you give them an inch and they go to the top of the bank.
Yeah, well, maybe we should just make it the top of the bank based on the sidewalk.
Yeah, no, that's not really gonna fly, that you want us to fly inside the 25 buffer zone with a lawn. Do you know
Yeah, I
what
mean, it's a, yeah. I guess not necessarily
not lawn.
lawn, but
Well, it will be when you make
Well, if
it part of
somebody,
their
yeah, it's not,
clearing, that will become
The person
lawn. Give
that
it
has it
5,
now.
10 years, lawn. As soon as you tell people this is the edge of your yard, that's where the lawn goes, so. This is why we're having this conversation, for that exact reason.
And if you don't clear it for them, they won't be tempted to
Exactly. The
put
more
in
you
seed.
clear, that's where the lawn goes. So that's why we have to be really, we have to all agree on where that line is. 'cause
yeah, but
that's-
if we stick to this, then there's no
Yeah, but I need to see what
ambiguity
that
there.
looks like out there. So I want to go out and see where.
So if
where
you can
that
just
is.
stake the erosion control as it is on the plan,
and
then we
then,
can tell you if we like it or not.
Exactly, yeah, because if it looks like, significant, because remember, your rationale for going inside the 50 is just to give them a lot more lawn. Like, you don't
Well, and
actually.
we're not really cutting.
There's no activity within that area either.
Just clearing, but for what reason
There's
except
only
for lawn?
like 3 trees are gonna come down.
There's literally this one with.
Well, that's what I want to, that's what I
So,
kind of want to check
yeah.
out.
Well,
I want to see what
and-
this is.
I mean, they did some plantings on the last one. That was nice.
After they
Nice
cleared
ones.
it by mistake, right?
No, we
Oh.
proposed
It was
those.
proposed. I don't know if you want to suggest that, if the applicant would be willing to do
It's all at
that.
the applicant's discretion, but at this point, I'd like to see
Well,
what
since we're allowing them to clear to the 25,
we maybe.
maybe. Well, I don't think clearing is, well,
Well, I
Not
guess that's
so
what it
much
comes down to, is we gotta
activity.
see whether it's really clearing or if it's just kind of cleaning some
yeah, it
brush
doesn't
out.
look like, it looks
You know,
like there's
It may be no big deal
Yeah,
leaves.
until you see it.
until you see it, exactly. It's
Four
kind of
corners of the
hard.
house and the
You want the house as well, or just
Yeah.
the erosion control?
house.
Yeah, both.
Since I'm here, and we just filed his other lot today,
Mm-hmm.
and we killed 2 birds with
What
one
other
stone. Lot
Another
1. So the one, the existing house, it's on the other side. Can we look at that?
You mean at the same site walk?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Oh.
yeah, sure.
Well,
Yeah, we don't know anything about it. Do you have the plan submitted?
Today, she got them, so you probably haven't
You're
seen
gonna be
them.
on site?
What's that?
Well, let's put it this way, how
Oh,
much
could
can you get staked out?
Yeah, can you stake the house and the other one in the erosion control?
Yeah.
and it's all
When-
flagged and all that stuff?
When?
When is the next meeting? 2 weeks?
I have my,
The 17th.
That's 6 to 8 depot? Yeah, so you're on, that's on 8:15 on the 17th.
Right.
This one will continue to 8:30.
Okay, so when's a good time for a site walk? When can you have it staked by? And,
You do Monday, you do
Next Monday. It might be
Monday
kind
the
of tight.
16th.
Oh, the 16th?
That's
It's
Patriots
a
Day.
Patriots Day, though.
next Monday?
2 Mondays.
Oh, yeah.
What about in 2 Wednesdays?
Works for me.
So we can't do next week?
Yeah, next Wednesday, not this
Oh,
Wednesday.
oh, okay.
so the 11th we're talking about?
Yeah.
We're talking about, like,
5:30?
yeah,
Yeah.
if we're talking like that, I
Yeah.
can do that.
I can do 5:15-ish.
Okay,
We'll say
so Wednesday,
5:30.
the 11th, 5:30.
What was it, date?
The 11th.
Thank you.
And then that's gonna be number 68 also.
Is that good for you, Steve?
Yeah.
Anybody here in the audience have any questions about this?
Make a motion to continue the public hearing for 64 Depot Street to April 17th at 8:30 PM.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
It's at 5:30, right? Still putting it in.
What was that continued to? 8?
30, because he's got 8:15 for the other one already. For 68.
I think we should continue these for like 10 minutes.
You want me to make a,
No,
On
next
Monday?
time. Next time, because we already told them to, what time.
you don't think we're gonna go till 8:30?
Well, we can always hold a public hearing later, but we
Yeah.
can never have it earlier.
Right.
Because some people, we have 3 continuances in a row and then we're sitting here for
And as many
45
times as I've
minutes.
asked, nobody has brought a deck of cards.
Yeah,
Even though I
right.
asked.
So what was the 8:30 you said?
8:30.
Next, we have a public hearing continuation for Southeast Main Street, Dudley Pond, Blackstone Valley, Beagle Club.
Yes, we got something.
A request for determination of applicability.
Good evening.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. State your
Nice to see you,
names,
Steve.
please.
Jim Tassino for the Beagle Club.
And you are?
And Dennis Buffalo, Beagle Club.
And last time, we had said we wanted to see a plan, or see if you would be willing to do a plan.
Sequence of events, I thought, is what we were talking
Well,
about.
we asked for an engineered stamped plan.
I thought we were talking about the work plan.
And I reviewed the tape on the town website, just to see, and we had asked for an engineered stamped plan and a sequence.
I just got the sequence part of that, to be honest with you. We met out there on Saturday because of scheduling and vacations. I got it today, I sent a copy off to Bill as soon as I got it. Thought we said we wanted Bill to see it. I mean, it's really pretty straightforward. I recall that we were talking about, we were concerned about being responsible for the type of material that they would use in there, and you didn't want that. So I had him clarify those things. So Bill Drexel from Northwest Engineering is working on complying with the inspection report and reclassification of that area to a lower hazard to get them out of that 5-year inspection plan. Because he's taken a bunch of elevations of the high and the low water, he went downstream, surveyed foundations, stuff like that. So, you know, long story short, every day that goes by, it just gets worse. You know, either because they went on the wrong track, or they misunderstood, but once their permit expired, or they realized their permit expired, they stopped doing the work, they started the process to renew the permit as they thought they were, as it was explained to them. So we've already, I don't want to use the word wasted, because that makes it sound like we weren't doing anything, but we've already spent like 8 weeks trying to get us back to where we were. In the meantime, we've had some significant storms, they had some blockage, the emergency spillway got clogged by some beavers, which caused the dam to crest. I mean, we talked about the liability of the fill they're gonna put in there, so I don't know how you balance that against the liability that exists. It's a dam, it's maintenance. If we don't do anything, it's not gonna be a dam anymore, and it's gonna be a brook. I don't know if this, I really thought we talked about sequence of acts and work plans. This is, to me, this is more important than what anybody could draw on a piece of paper and hope to comply with. It's there, it's live.
Well, if a civil engineer were to draft up the document, they have
This
more
is-
expertise than anyone at this
So,
board.
but this is engineering services.
He's a PE.
What's that?
He's a PE.
So did you get an email from,
Yeah, so what about
From the DEP?
DEP email? That's concerning.
Well, I got that too, at 5:27.
Today?
So- Yeah, oddly enough, that's probably the only one that works late, and it seems odd to come on the night of the
you on
meeting.
that
but-
email? You're on that too?
Yeah, you were on that 5:27, so you didn't read your email since then, did you?
Well, they got it.
they got it.
Yeah, we got
But
it.
all she's saying is they should work with an engineer. I don't know who she is. I know that she's not with the Department of Dam Safety.
She's with DEP, Environmental Protection.
Yeah, but she's not with, and Drexel, Mr. Drexel has been in contact with them, number one, to review the report, number two, to request an
She's with
extension.
wetlands.
Yeah, wetland circuit rider.
But I mean, she's just inferring that they should work with an engineer, and they are working with an engineer. The repair of the dam to this extent is a result of the last 6 or 7, 8 weeks. So it's not,
So how, so what's your, when you talk to us, what's your process with filing with the dam safety?
so two things with them. They request a 5-year report, every 5 years, an assessment report, because they classify it in a higher classification, hazard classification. So he's doing two things. He's responding to that report, but he's done the paperwork with them to reduce the classification below significant, so it doesn't require reporting every,
No, but for what, would you get, a violation last July?
no, they just got that the dam wasn't in compliance. That was last
No,
August,
the-
August 2007.
Right, so that, how you compliant?
Non-compliance.
The non-compliance, how you satisfying the non-compliance from the dam safety?
So a lot of that had to do with improvements to the dam
And
that
then,
they were doing under your permit that you guys issued them before. So John Zifkaff, a senior member of the club, came down here and he was told that the permit expired to apply for a new one. We stopped the work. He applied for a new one. Here we are.
That came in from the dam safety.
But they gave them, when they did their survey, they came up with a list of discrepancies that they had to repair. That's what they've been doing.
What work are you doing to comply with the,
Today, nothing. We don't have a valid permit from you guys.
no. What work are you doing to comply with the dam safety non-compliance order?
Today, nothing. We don't have a permit from you.
From who?
Well, because we stopped the work because John Zifkaff was told that the permit had expired. Before we could work on the dam, they needed a permit. And this was supposed to be an easier process, as he explained.
No. You got.
We have to fill dirt.
They got a.
So the non-compliance-
Whoever told you to stop working, but the order they got, the non-compliance.
Right. Does that trumps
Right.
Concom? In the sense that they have to do that work regardless of filing with us for dam safety?
But, but how do they comply with the dam safety? Do they have to file with dam safety?
Every 5 years, they have to file with dam safety.
So there was specific timeline outlined. So phase 2 inspection investigation. So you guys had some investigation there. They found that there was discrepancies between what this dam safety office had thought the condition of the dam was. So you did, it's phase 2 inspection investigation is to be completed, signed, stamped by your engineer, copies of phase 2 final report delivered to the Office of Dam Safety and no later than March 1st, 2018.
Right, and that's what, it was originally December, then he asked for an extension because of the weather. So right now, he has an extension to file the report, but what we want to achieve is once we come out of the hazard classification, those are not compliance issues for lower classifications.
Correct. Okay. So the downgraded
No, but
Dam.
but that's but that's different. That's what you're requesting
From them.
from them. But to comply with this letter, you have to give information to dam safety, engineer reports and plans on how you're going to comply with this letter.
Right, and a lot,
And so the question is, when that information you give to dam safety to comply with this letter of non-compliance, they've asked to inform the commission at the same time to keep us updated.
right,
So what you're asking the commission tonight and informing us to keep us updated to comply with the letter, is that happening? Is that what you're requesting? So what you're requesting from the commission tonight, is that the same information you're giving to the dam safety to comply with this letter?
in part,
Because that's why you're in
yes.
front of us.
Well,
for them.
yeah, I guess the short answer
Yeah,
to that. is yes.
repairing, breaching, removing
So
the dam.
that information, is that what you're presenting to the commission? Is that what you're requesting?
From you, from here?
That's why you're
Has
here,
the
right?
information sent to the Office of Dam Safety? Is that presented the
the
same?
reason
No, we
you're
asked
here-
just for an extension from them.
Okay.
Because what he will,
responded.
what's he going to, he'll submit a report at the end of his extension time. So originally, they had some sinkholes, they did cut all the brush down, they did several things that were on that initial assessment report, all by volunteerism, they've done several things. They had some sinkholes. In the meantime, because we didn't continue making the repairs, a culmination, a cumulative effect, if you will. You had the weather, you had the emergency spillway being blocked by beavers, you had this all happened in the last 8 weeks. The dam breached, it went into those sinkholes, and it had created spots of failure. So where we've reduced the water level slightly, there's not a lot of volume in there. That's an old ice pond that they used to flood the area and cut ice blocks and put them in buildings on a foundation on the left. So there's not a lot of water, and you're not retaining a flood volume, if you will. You open the valve up, all the water pretty much leaves the dam, and then you can work on that dam. So we're at the point now where we've controlled the water. We've mitigated the clogged up emergency spillway, but now we just need to make the repairs, continue making the repairs. At some point, we'll complete those repairs. Mr. Drexel will file that report saying that the repairs are complete and the application to reduce that high hazard to a lower hazard that won't even require the inspection process. This was, and I am not an expert by a stretch, but I am familiar with this process because when they first surveyed the dams, they put a lot of them in the high hazard category. And, you had to assess them to get out of the high hazard category. And that's where they are now. Like, I know several dams up gradient from that West Street area where I'm familiar with that have been reduced to a low hazard or just let to go and they're breached.
They're more conservative.
Yeah, so, I mean, I thought we wanted a work order, the progress of events. Mr. Drexel is involved in it, he is there. It just needs to be done, and if we wait any longer, we're gonna lose the opportunity to fix it, in my opinion.
Can I ask you how late does the extension now permit?
I'm not sure exactly. Bill's working with them directly.
So work needs to be completed no later than March 1st, 2019 with the Phase 2 submittal.
And that's when he got an extension.
So
If there's an extension, then we do actually, I mean, I have to go with what's in front of me unless you can provide me any, you know what I mean? Like, give me a piece of paper that says.
That's.
So I'm gonna go with, this is what we're working with these deadlines, because there may be an extension, but I don't have anything in front of me that says that, and I don't have a date.
Well,
So I'm just gonna go with this as like.
this is bring the dam into compliance and complete all repair, breach, or removal work no later than March 1st, 2019.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm gonna go with these timelines until provided something that
So
says
they
something
have
different.
until next year on the 1st of March to complete all the work
So,
that their engineer has suggested needed to be completed.
our goal is to complete the work. Our goal is also to reduce the hazard. So there's two things that are going, that Northwest is working on. Getting us compliant with our submittals and removing them or having them removed from that high hazard classification, which affects them in future years. So those are two
Right.
things that he's working on with the Department of Dam Safety.
So this that you submitted, well, not even necessarily what you submitted to us, but let's just use this as a, he hasn't submitted anything here for Phase 2. Has anybody submitted the inspections that they requested due by 2017?
I think this is what he got an extension on until March of this year sometime. Then I think he asked again because of the weather conditions, because he needed some topography and some other stuff.
So forgive my ignorance on this,
No,
really.
I'm way ignorant
Help
on
me
it, to be
out.
honest with you.
Does he qualify as qualified registered professional engineer with dam engineering experience?
Yes.
So, okay, so he
Yeah,
fits
we've worked
that,
on
okay.
dams with him, and he's managed dams. So he manages a couple of dams in Rhode Island currently.
Great.
Way bigger than this little thing.
So under the RDA, are you requesting to do all these activities of work or maybe just the initial phase of this work?
I would like them to take it through the end of if possible, through the end of the year. That would allow them to complete all of their repairs.
So it does mention in this schedule that there's going to be, you're going to be lowering the water, placing sandbags. Does this mean it's going to be totally stopping the flow of water?
For a couple of days, yeah. So the water is pretty much lowered at this point because of the washout, so you had some infiltration through the dam. So it's pretty much lowered below that now. There's a little bit lower it can go, and then we just sandbag it because the gate leaks a little bit, and we don't want any water into whatever area that we have flowable fill for a day or two.
Because you'd be completely cutting off an area that's coming out of that
It's not flowing
Pond.
right now.
at all.
No.
So below.
That's what you're
below
saying, right? It's
stream.
not flowing.
No,
It doesn't, but historically,
Yeah,
what's the water flow?
so in between, we try to So we had dropped it down in anticipation of doing the repairs. So then we brought it up a little because, they do stock it that one time for the fishing derby, but there were some fish in there, and so we raised it back up just to cover the whole bottom. But we're controlling it at a much lower, the only difference is that it's high level, it's 2 feet high.
So it's basically a retention pond. So water doesn't come out of there at all? So you don't even need an outflow and a
Spillway, you're
dam or a
saying.
spillway? I mean, there's
A
gotta
lot of
be-
drainage does run through there, because after heavy rain.
Well, that's what I mean. If
Yeah.
it rains, the water should come out because whatever's downstream is now gonna be shut off.
Well, we're gonna use
Right.
several days of weather in our favor.
Well, you just said you wanted to do this whole thing, which could be a year.
Oh, no, we're only gonna control the water during that initial phase, about 3 days. So we're gonna wait for a 3 or 4 day dry period, and then we're gonna control the water, 6 days without precipitation, then we're gonna control the water. It's gonna take about a day and a half or 2 days to do the work, place the flowable fill, and then we're gonna keep the water retained as much as possible for up to 3 days to let the flowable fill settle, and then we're gonna open up the flow of water. So if we can get 6 days without precipitation, which always happens in April.
April showers.
No, it's gotta be May.
Do you think that, Bill can provide an update, once each phase is completed throughout the year to keep the commission?
Well, he'll probably be including that in his filing for the DEP, which he'll probably submit here.
DEP or?
Dam safety.
Yeah, so dam safety, so we have to figure out if we're gonna require a notice of intent filed with us for the rest of the work, or if this is gonna be enough information for an RDA. I guess who's the authority, who's the regulating authority for dam safety? And do we do whatever we do whatever they regulate, whatever they approve, we allow?
Oh, yeah, so does dam safety gonna approve your work before you do it?
No, they're, if you read the report, they're telling you, so when we did our own inspection, we called out our own deficiencies on the initial inspection, and we're repairing those deficiencies. To me, I don't know, it seems simpler to me, because it's such a small project, it only literally retains 2.5 feet of water. There's areas of that when it's full, it's only 2 feet deep. Because the way it was cut, it must have been a stream bed that they just banked it, they flooded it, and they started cutting out, and ice is cut 2.5 feet deep, and that's exactly how deep it is when it's holding all its water. And there is a channel that runs through there that had to be that original drainage brook, or that, whatever went through there, that, 5 and 6 foot deep, but there's nothing more than 6 foot deep in that whole thing.
Yeah, so they're stating that General Law, Chapter 253, Sections 44 through 48, and 302 CMR 10 set forth the jurisdiction for the ODS and its authority to take action and order actions to be taken. So that's the Office of Dam Safety. And then they say the regulations can be found. So, they're pretty much ordering the activities of, fixing the structural integrity of the dam. They determine that the dam needs to be repaired, breached, or removed in order to bring the dam into compliance
They're
with
telling
dam.
you that they want you to do it, but they don't tell you how.
They're saying
Who to
that they
file
have
with, right?
jurisdiction, their office has the jurisdiction to take action and order actions to be taken into compliance with dam safety regulations.
What if we give the office a call and ask them what they deem our jurisdiction is relative to theirs, so they can tell us what they want us or don't want us doing? I'm perfectly happy to step off of their toes if they want to be like, no, we've told them what to do. I'm happy with that as long as it comes from them, since they're the ones who issued the non-compliance. So I personally would like to hear their take on where they see how the applicant's supposed to juggle these entities.
So Steve, You think you can give them
I
a
assume we can.
call?
And then can you, like, communicate it back to me in baby terms? This, I've never come into something in the middle like this, so it's very confusing.
Here's this section. In order to maintain compliance with the Commonwealth's wetlands protection laws, you may have to seek requisite approval from your local conservation commission. In
Right.
accordance with General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, you're obligated to contact and maintain communication with the Douglas Conservation Commission and any other local, state, or federal permitting agency to ensure compliance with the Wetlands Protection Act and any other regulatory requirements. Maintain communication.
Wow, doesn't mean that's vague.
Contact and
Says
maintain.
May.
Obligated to, it doesn't say may.
I thought you read May first. May be
Maintain.
required to. So I said may be required
Oh,
to.
well, yes.
Well, then you may not be.
Because we have bylaws, so
You
you
may
are.
have to seek requisite approval.
I want to apologize for being slightly ignorant. We had something. John Zifkaf came down to town hall to research it because we didn't have a copy of it. It was deemed expired. He was told to reapply. We applied verbatim in an effort to.
When? What do you mean applied? I don't understand that. So are you in front of the commission because of what John came down and said you had to reapply, or you're in front of the commission because you're complying with this letter?
No, nothing to do with the letter, quite frankly. John, we wanted to pick up our construction in February, like you would when the water was low. Then we didn't have the permit.
So the original permit was a order of conditions?
No, it was exactly
RDA.
what we filed here.
Negative,
Well,
RDA.
RDA's don't expire.
Oh my god.
This one did.
Well, because it's an order.
Can we find it? Let's get this
Yeah,
on
it
a
was.
piece of paper.
I had it sent it in with my attachment. So that
Is it
I
in
just want
here
to explain why I'm here.
Wait, RDAs don't
It's getting more
expire.
confusing.
It is more confusing for me because
expired?
it says it expired.
Well,
on
let's
that
find the RDA and see if it says that. Let's see if it's.
That's why we're here.
Too many volunteers are trying to do
Right.
too many different.
Who did you speak to that said it was?
I didn't. John
volunteer?
Zifkaf came down here.
Well,
I didn't
let's
come
double check that before we take any steps
down.
forward.
And because this is after his bedtime, I have to come down here because he doesn't stay up to sleep.
Well, if it doesn't expire, then this could be moot. I mean, if they haven't approved
I've talked to John
RDA, you could be
over
good to
the
go.
years. If he had a permit and if it expired,
I'm almost sure that a program like this.
No, I thought it expired and it had a 2-year extension period because of when it
See, that
expired.
sounds like an order of conditions.
It wasn't though. I don't think.
No, it was,
That's just a duplicate.
the same thing. And here's the old one. Expired determination.
Is that, and this, I don't remember your name. I'm sorry.
Brandy, no problem.
And that's why you said you might not do the same thing this time as you did next time, and that's the part.
Right.
But that's what John was told to do. I don't want to say John was told because I wasn't there, but that's what path we were on, is do exactly.
Because you
and
wrote on it, doesn't
I
mean
copied
it's
that
expired.
verbatim.
Here you go. And then
So was it deemed negative or was it deemed positive initially?
Negative.
But it's a time-limited negative? Is that what we're saying? Does that make any sense?
She's reading
No.
it.
Yeah.
RDA's don't expire.
they don't expire. Well, if you're coming from someone get a negative determination, it's negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, let's see what. Source area.
And you didn't sign.
My name ain't on it.
No, that's the one.
That was
That's
the
what you-
last
that's what
time.
Yeah, that's what we said last
You were
time.
proud of that last
Yeah,
time.
very, very psyched because you're putting herbicides next to water. So yeah, I'm very psyched my name's not on that. But hold on, let me see what.
What's the date? The time frame.
2010, May. Making sure this says the same thing. Hold on a second. So this is your new version, I guess. So now, hold on a second. Let me just see that I'm looking at the same freaking page. Form 2, Section A, Section B. No, this is, okay, C, authorization, D, appeals. So now this is the new version. And, oh, it was you guys who wrote that. You guys said previous negative determination expired.
Well, because I just
Because you were
copied
told that,
this.
because you were totally
That's
told
all I
that.
did.
So the key here, this all comes down to one thing, which is that somebody wrote this in a top corner for something that doesn't expire. When you get a negative determination, it means we're telling you, you don't have to file. You are fine as long as you use erosion
What's that work for,
controls.
though?
What?
The same type of
Same
work?
thing.
Yeah,
Same exact
yeah,
thing.
remove mature, well, not maybe as
exactly.
extensive.
You know, this is more detailed for sure.
Remove mature trees within 10 feet, including the downstream toe. Apply herbicide to the stumps or use other suitable means to discourage regrowth. Monitor the stumps and fill in with suitable material as needed. Should a tree blow over, the roots may tip out or weaken the earthen embankment. Add impervious fill and seed to crest of dam as a grass surface is more erosion resistant than sand. Place 3 inches of sacrificial surface of crushed stone on footpath. If that is what you want to do, you have a negative determination. There is no such thing. A negative means, as long as it says conditioned with erosion controls. As long as you use erosion controls, it has already been deemed that it doesn't fit our purview.
You don't
that
need to
you
file
don't
a
need to
notice
file.
of intent.
Which, there's no way to ever
But they did
say,
a lot of that work already.
Did some of it. We never
if
got
you want
to
to do
filling the
more
voids.
than this, there's no expiration on this. So somebody lied when they wrote that. There's no expiration on a negative because it's saying no filing needed. So there's nothing to expire because technically there's no filing to expire. So you're good. If this is what you want to do and it's a negative, you may do this without any further discussion with us. However, if you want to go even one step past this, which maybe you do, maybe you don't, maybe they'll change their mind and say, let's just stick with this and not deal with it. But if you want to go anything past what's written here, you do have to come back to us and talk to us about it and see whether or not.
It would be another.
Okay, so I'm gonna.
Further RDA.
But if you want to stick to this, you're good.
So let me ask you this question. So they need to do some of the work. I think it fits inside this scope. It's obviously bigger holes, but it's still inside that area of the dam. So that said, when we're done, we talked last time of what the maintenance permit would look like. Because at the end of the day, we want to get a maintenance permit. What does that look like? Is it a notice of intent, or do we just use this for maintenance?
No.
Okay, so is that going to be a notice of intent? Now, does that expire?
Yeah.
Even on a dam that goes on forever? Or
Yeah, wouldn't you just ask, what did we do with the other dam?
Well, it's like Whiting's, they
What do they do, renew it?
They renew it, yeah.
It's not like you're rewriting the whole thing every time,
Yeah.
you're just,
Okay. So what we want to do then is we want to get to that point. So in the future, then we're going to file for notice of intent, and that'll include any other major work and the maintenance. That can be one file.
well, the maintenance would be ongoing, major work. If you're planning it on a regular basis, then you could make it part of that it could be maintenance with occasional large things. But if there was something dramatic that popped up, that would be something separate.
Did you guys decide if you wanted a pond yet?
Conservation.
That'd be such a great asset to you guys.
I don't think
It
that's
was like a
us.
pond,
You would like a
right?
pond?
the Linda pond.
Cut it out.
You almost get Linda if you rearrange the words and the letters in
Dudley,
Dudley.
Linda.
Yeah, close.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to do.
All right.
So do you want me to take anything back? You want to keep that for your file?
I think this was ours, yeah. That was ours, but
Linda's Dudley Pond.
What vehicle? I'm going to get the sign for that.
Wait, what do you want to do for acting on the RDA that's in front of us?
I
Withdraw?
would suggest highly that you withdraw. You can only do that, we can't force you to do that, but I would suggest you withdraw this new RDA because you have an existing one that covers that work. Find out if you want to do something beyond that, then you want an RDA, but you might want to tailor it to what you really want, specifically what you want to do, because this already covers a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
And
okay,
so run with
Can
that.
we continue that for 2 weeks and then until the next meeting, and then I let you know?
Yeah.
Can always
And
continue.
Steve, if you can find out why it was written on there, that it's expired from Maria?
Because
why
that's
she
our copy,
thinks-
right?
Yes.
So why
No,
did
that
it?
was a
Maybe
slide
he called, I
copy.
mean, I talked to him on the phone and he said I have an expired permit, and if it's expired, you gotta file.
Yeah, but why did
Someone
Maria
must have
write
totally
it?
gave him that, I don't know.
Right, but for somebody to write it on one of our forms,
On
that's
our
very
forms.
unorthodox.
That was
so-
the application that was submitted.
Oh.
Not one of your forms.
Oh, it wasn't our signed for? Wait,
No.
but our signature was on it.
That was
That was the old order.
Oh, it was the new submitted
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yes, that's just somebody scratching notes, chicken scratch on there.
Do some research.
Maria's been out a lot.
So anyway, sorry, that was
Meeting in
us.
2 weeks or
Somebody
so.
else.
That's Patriots.
So when do you guys want to continue this to?
On Tuesday, they moved the meeting to Tuesday.
12,
8:45?
5 minutes
5 minutes?
after the last one.
Yeah, 8:35.
5.
So in 2 weeks in a day.
We'll let you know. Thank you.
Tuesday, thank you.
Sorry about wasting your time.
No, not at all.
Thank you for being
You
patient.
can't say we don't
Yeah.
communicate.
Make a motion to
thank you.
continue the public meeting to April 17th at 8:35.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Sorry to keep you all waiting out there, but next we have a public meeting, RDA, for 26 North Street, Hayward Landing.
Last but not least.
Yes, I know.
This is the riprap thing,
Okay, so
The test
Okay.
pit. Just want to do test pits.
right? Oh, okay.
test pits, yep. Okay, so my name is Nancy Marshall and I'm with Ransom Consulting. And I'm here on behalf of Hayward Landing. I know that about a year ago, they had come and talked to you because they wanted to repair a retaining wall.
Oh, I need the ad from the paper. Do you have the ad from the paper? This is the request for determination.
This is information.
Oh, is it?
Not.
It says
It's a
RDA.
discussion.
Did you file an RDA?
Yeah. Yeah, and Maria, we gave the fee to Maria.
Okay.
Maria was
Did you post
posting
that?
the ad. So
Did you put the ad in the paper?
Maria
Usually
said
the
she was
applicant-
posting the
The
ad.
applicant does.
Yeah, because if it's not, the ad hasn't been put in the paper, then
Maria had told me
we do
that,
not put the ads in the paper.
Only for ZBA.
You have to.
okay, that's not what we were told by Maria last 2 weeks ago.
Want me to check? Just to
Yeah, so what she had told
We never
me, so
pay
what
for
she,
the ad.
we didn't, I know, but what she had told us, and maybe Callie
I have
can,
email, I'm just gonna say if I have the email from
Okay.
Maria that says it, that she will place the ad.
yeah, okay.
Okay, good.
Because the conversation that I had had with her was that she needed the $25 fee because she needed to put the ad in the paper. She said, we need to put the ad in the paper by Monday. And so we had done that all the prior week, so everything was set to go on Monday. So
So
if
when you said we had to put the ad in the paper, did you mean she had to put the ad?
she said we had to put the ad in the paper. She didn't say you have to put the ad in the paper. So,
So did you put the ad in the
being
paper?
Douglas, right?
no.
Well, that's because you, well, why didn't you?
Because my understanding from Maria was that Maria needed the information from us, which I gave her what the ad needed to say, and she had said that she, being the clerk at the
Yeah.
Conservation Commission, was gonna post the ad. So, I gave her the information, but
Because we can't hold the public meeting without the ad in the paper. And the public has to
Okay.
be notified. And when she said you have to put
she
the
didn't
ad in the
say you.
paper,
She didn't say you.
she said that the town was gonna put the ad in the paper.
Yes. So Kelly is looking, Kelly is with Hayward Landing, and she was copied on all this stuff. She's looking for the email.
Probably used the word "we." And that
She did
was-
use the word "we."
Oh, she
And
did.
that she, yeah.
Never mind.
It's a loaded word.
Yeah.
And what date do you think it was?
March 21st.
It was posted in the Telegram and Gazette?
Nope, this is the email from Maria.
No, she's looking for the ad if it was posted.
It was supposed to go out the following Monday, so what have
But-
I been?
but do you have something from Maria saying-
I'm looking for the email.
Yeah,
from
if you
Maria.
could forward that to Steve. Do you have something zippy?
23rd?
And I think Steve's on this email.
Right,
actually.
and the last thing, Steve and I had a conversation too about whether or not we needed to do, whether an RDA was the appropriate vehicle for this request. And he had been in touch with Maria to also say, yeah, go ahead, do whatever needs to be done for this. So my understanding was that we were all set for the meeting. I didn't know if we were the ones that were supposed to be posting the ad. That was not at all clear.
Well, a
So,
minute ago, you said it was clear that she said that The town
I
was
said,
responsible for it.
Right, and that's exactly what I just said. I said that my understanding was that the town was doing it, so if we were supposed to do it, that was not made clear to me that we were the ones that were supposed to do it, because everything that came from her sounded like we just needed
Do
to
you
get
have
her
that
the
email?
information.
So I have an email. It's actually from Nancy to Maria, and Steve, you're on it as well. And it says, "Hi Maria, we prepared the RDA for Hayward Landing without connecting with Steve Zis first. I think that's the appropriate submittal, and if so, we want to make sure the deadline for the next meeting. I know that you said we have until Monday to publish. Please check with Steve before moving forward with the publication to confirm the appropriateness of the RDA. I don't want to appear before the cause come with only being told we need an NOI."
So I called
Maria
you.
replies back. Do you want me to keep going, or?
Yeah,
Maria replies back and says, "I think it's the right submittal also." And then she says, "The guy that came in to deliver the RDA was supposed to come right back with a check for $25 for the application fee. I need that today to make sure, can you please make sure he or she comes with it so we can move
The
forward?"
$25 is for the application fee, it's not
So
for
what
the
day was
admin
that?
paper.
That was the 21st at 1:36 p.m.
What day was that?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So I called you.
yeah, so you and I
I
talked.
called you at night,
Yep,
got your cell phone, went over the email,
yep,
and I said, that's fine.
yep.
Just, I'll talk to Maria, but if you see it, tell her I told you the RDA is appropriate, then
Right.
we can move forward.
Right. And so that's where, and so that, with all of that, what was in my head was that we were good, we're here.
Sounds like the application fee and the submitting the
Well, the
paper got
submittal-
confused,
the
mixed up
newspaper
and
fee is
confused.
The
like
application fee and
$90,
the
it's
submitting of the
never
paperwork,
25.
it's fine. They did it right.
I
It's
know.
the ad in the paper.
I know, that's what I just said, is
Was
that
never done.
I said that it seems that the confusion there was that although one was paid, it was misconstrued as being the other, and so,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't assume that the ad in the paper was $25. I assumed that we would be, that, I thought it was kind of weird, yeah, I thought it would be billed. I mean, I thought it was a little unusual that the conscom was putting the ad in the paper, but every conscom does their own thing,
Who
so I
dropped off
thought,
the check?
I did.
To Maria.
Yeah.
She
So-
gave you a time and date?
so what I
gave me
thought was that
today.
it would be billed.
This time.
And then she did she give you a form to fax over to T&G?
Nope. She gave me one receipt, which, because I asked her for it so I could submit the check to our accounting department.
legally
Okay,
act.
so
So regardless,
paper, we
you
can't.
need to either contact Maria back and figure out how you can put that ad in the paper, because we cannot hold a public hearing without notifying the public.
can we take this under discussion while she's here? Because,
So does it have to be a public hearing? Can I
It's a
at least
meeting.
kind of, or a public, whatever?
An
can we at
RDA
least
public meeting
talk
has
about
to
it
have,
so
no, we
can-
can't, because the public was never notified, and they can't be here to voice their concerns. So we can't even open the public meeting, is what I'm saying, without reading the ad from the paper.
Okay. Can we have a discussion
Well,
without it being a public meeting?
No.
Well, it's posted as, it's not an RDA, right?
It's an RDA, it's a public meeting, RDA.
Right.
It's an official thing, we have to have the ad in the paper to even open up discussion. The
Right,
public has to come in if they have any concerns or
because it's already
questions.
listed as something, as an
okay, so
RDA, so
we're
now
sure
we're
that
covered.
they
Hands are tied.
need to file. We're sure that they need to file something,
An
right?
RDA?
They've done
already
that.
came
Well, they want
back
to do
here.
test pits within the jurisdiction of the commission.
Right, so exploratory testing
Exploratory
is
test
not
pits.
falling under the exemptions.
Well, and that was my question, is does the exploratory test pits fall under the exemption? And that's what I thought the RDA was actually going to say, so I tell you what we're doing, and you say, yes, it falls under the exemption, or no, it doesn't fall under the exemption.
Well, exemption is no permitting, but under our local, it may still be jurisdictional. But it's, an exemption is an exemption, so for testing in the Wetlands Protection Act.
Okay, all right, so,
Locally, we have our local bylaw, so you may only be, subject to some sort of
Exempt from
jurisdictional.
the state, but
Yeah.
maybe not
There may
exempt
be
from
any-
the
But then
town.
we could
Okay.
condition it. That's
Okay.
why we
Yeah.
have them do this. Like,
Okay.
okay.
So
What do you have for time?
we can't even open up the discussion on
Let's
this.
put it,
We need to
early.
get on to the next.
Well, we've got to give her time.
Yeah, 5 minutes after the last one, So it'd be
Well, let's squeeze her in.
8:40? Can we-
7:05?
Either that or 7:05.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
7:05.
All right, so we continue to 7:05 on 4/17.
You're not even opening it.
Yeah, so your
Yeah, we're not-
newly scheduled time will be April 17th at 7:05 for the newspaper ad.
And you must bring the ad in, a copy of the ad that's published in the paper.
April 17th at 7:05.
Correct.
And the name of the paper?
Telegram Gazette.
Maria has that's why I'm surprised. She has a template for RDA's
We
to
never-
the Team G that you can fax over. You just put in your name and the.
Well, that's what I gave to her.
She gave it to
So,
you first.
so
and then you
basically,
gave it
well,
back to
no,
her.
see, so what happened is that we've done, we did an RDA for this property a few years ago. So I had that public notice form in my file, so I filled it out and sent it to her when I asked her for everything else. And so that's why I thought it was
That's
like.
confusing.
Yeah, that doesn't
She
go to
assumes
her.
you had it, you were gonna do it because you knew the
So,
process.
so,
Right. Yeah, because that doesn't go to her.
So question for you, what did that RDA say that you were allowed to do?
the RDA said that what we were proposing to do at the site was to excavate test pits for the purpose
Are you talking
of...
about the old one or
Yeah,
this one?
the old
The old
one.
one was for a different.
The old one was different.
So it didn't say anything about
For
testing?
Did not say anything about test
Oh,
pits.
then we can't go there.
Okay,
No.
yeah.
No.
No, I was, you know where I was going with that.
The old one was for soil borings. That
Are
we
you
had
doing soil
done.
borings?
We're not, we're doing
Okay.
test pits.
All right,
All
never
right,
mind.
But it was
Done.
for soil borings in this same area.
Okay.
We're out of
fine.
luck.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So now we just gotta wait. So
7:05.
another 2 weeks.
We'll see.
So you've got the
7:05.
form, all you gotta do is send it to the newspaper and
To
we're
the
good to go.
newspaper. with
Make
that.
sure you change the form now with our new dates.
Yes.
Because we've continued
Yep.
it, so your form's
Yep.
not quite ready to go yet.
Yep,
All right, good.
okay.
Thank you.
And bring in a copy of the ad.
Before you leave, what I kind of remember a couple years ago, you guys were enforcing a wall and then doing some work on the pavement or something,
This is-
the parking spaces.
They're gonna file
There will be an NOI for the wall work, eventually. So basically, just whatever I can say here. The plan is that they have to do a wall repair.
Yeah.
They came before you guys a year or so ago
Right.
and not realizing the extent of what they needed to do for file. They contacted me to help them with this project because there's some contamination out there that we had helped them with, closed out under the MCP several years ago. The proposed wall was further north of that contamination, the wall repair. Now the wall repair is closer to the area of contamination. So basically, I had told them last summer that before you do this, we need an NOI, and before I can submit an NOI, we need the engineer design plans. And it took a little while for them to get an engineer to draw up some wall plans. So now, talking to the engineer said, now that we're so close to the area of contamination, before we finalize our plans, we need to know whether or not we are within that contamination zone. So this is the RDA just for the test pits that they need to finalize the design, and then once they finalize the design, we'll be submitting an NOI on the wall. So that's
That's the short story.
That's what we'll be talking about next time. So
Okay.
for that, an RDA is the appropriate venue
For the test pits,
for the test pits?
what do you think, board? Yeah? We'll look at it and the board may say, we're sorry, you have to file.
Yeah, there's always that possibility with an RDA that you get a positive RDA.
Right, no, I understand
Right.
that, I understand that,
So,
but at
if
least
you're
an
hoping-
RDA,
That's
an
where to
RDA
start.
is needed to at least decide whether or not test pits fall under that exemption or not.
Right.
And that was the conversation that I was having initially. It's like, if you already know that an RDA is not needed, then what's the point of
No,
going through this
we'd rather do
process?
the RDA.
Well, if you already
Make
know
sure-
that you're exempt from both, if you already know that you're exempt from both the state and the town bylaws, if you're completely sure of that, then no. But if you're not sure of that and you'd like us to assess it, then you file an RDA.
So what happens if I looked at it and made the decision that I thought it completely met the criteria, and then
someone
and then we
in
went
the
out
town
and did test
saw it,
pits and somebody said, no, it's not.
then you're screwed, so you'd really want to be
Right,
sure
so
you
you
were right
really
about
have
that.
to do the RDA.
Section.
It depends on how confident you are in reading the town bylaws and,
It's 310 CMR 1053,
yes,
which would give you the limited projects, but usually you file to say that, for my
Doing it,
exemptions.
yeah.
Right, and that's, when I read the exemption of the 310, it's like, we meet it because we're doing limited project for investigation purposes only. It's a one-day
sociogen.
temporary test pits that will be.
But then our buffers, our bylaw says anybody who's doing any work
Okay,
or altering the buffer zone or wetland must file.
and we're not doing any of that because we're in an existing paved parking lot.
You're doing test pits in the parking lot?
Yes,
Because of the hazardous
right,
situation.
right
Yes.
above the
There could be a
bank.
potential hazardous material coming out.
so we're not disturbing anything we're not disturbing a natural area. We're test pitting in the parking lot and then we're backfilling those holes because the wall is right up against the edge of the parking lot and that's kind of where they'll be digging. So we're test pitting in
Front area.
an existing developed area.
What's that?
Previously redeveloped.
Yeah.
Previously developed.
but riverfront area, yeah.
So you still think RDA? Right,
They should proceed.
okay.
They're already halfway there.
You're so close.
3/4 of the way there.
RDA is the way to go.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
covering everybody's butts. It's a good way to go.
That was the initial thought, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, sorry for the mix-up.
Yep, me too.
Discussion.
Last on the list.
Number one, someone is selling some property that is in Forest Street, 61A. And it's the old Chase Farm
Do we have any
off of
exciting
Orange.
stuff there?
I did have
You want it?
the exciting stuff. Oh, there it is.
You can have mine.
So anyway, it's a parcel of land that is in 61 right now. And the house across the street is being sold, and this parcel is being offered to them, so it's contingent upon the sale of the house that this parcel be conveyed to this person, and they're taking it out of Chapter 61. So they want to know if we want to refuse
Right of first
the
refusal?
property. Yes.
Yeah,
But
it
we don't have
actually,
anything even close.
yeah, and it
I mean,
actually doesn't even qualify anymore because it's under 10 acres. So, it has to be out of the 61B. The acreage fails to meet the minimum program requirement as it is. So I will make a motion to waive the Conservation Commission's first right of refusal for the 4.43 acre parcel on Orange Street.
The estate of Alice Chase.
Estate of Alice Chase.
Do I hear a second?
I need a moment to process.
Go right ahead.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
This is the same stuff that came through
Planning board,
right?
same
The planning
exact
board
I don't know because I
recommended-
didn't watch that night.
No, he's asking me.
Oh,
Yeah, we know you're stuck in planning board.
I watch
It
it on
was,
TV.
it's the town that has the right of first refusal.
Correct.
As opposed to half a dozen different boards, right?
No,
We
they're
make
just
a
asking for your
recommendation.
recommendation.
Right.
If we wanted it, we could say no, we
To the
want it, and
selectmen.
we would have to buy it. If we want it.
The selectmen are soliciting input from all the
Yeah, but
boards.
this is another case of us just providing our opinion
That's it.
to the selectmen, that's
Yeah.
all.
And tell me why we don't want it? Or I can sit here and read
Yeah,
through
we
this,
can't
or you
afford
can
it.
just tell me why, how much is
It's
it?
not near $100,000. It's not
Okay.
near any of our parcel of land, and it actually doesn't qualify for the designation, the tax reduction designation anymore because it's not 10 acres. So 61B. So there's the A and the B for tax.
That's why it has to be
Reduced.
taken out.
Yeah. And also, it's related to the sale. Yeah, the PNS is what is the lengthy. So you could buy it if you want it for 100,000. Do we have 100,000? No. Oh, okay.
That's the library money. Not to be silly, but
Yeah.
if the town wanted to buy it, they'd have to do some
Explaining.
digging deep. Yeah.
They'd have some
Pretty big
explaining
time.
to do.
Big time.
Maybe we could sell it for 200 and then pay it for the whole budget of the library.
think so.
No?
Nah, I don't think we'd get to. It is a nice area.
Yeah.
And there's a little brook
Yeah.
that goes in the back a bit. And
Okay.
so we have a second, I think?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, do you have any more questions?
Page. No?
Okay. Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Next, we have the fines for Lawrence Basil, 50 Southwest Main. I had Maria put it on there because we keep forgetting to issue him a fine for his violation of the pond.
Okay. So when did the notice, the denial of the ANRAD go out? I guess I just want to have that.
Oh,
Date.
Just read recently that we said we couldn't start charging fines till March 1st. I don't know if that's helpful, but that was in one of the
no,
notes
we
we
can,
just read.
if we can charge him, like, I figured we would probably charge him the $100 fine for the initial violation. And they're coming back at the next meeting, right? To continue on with that pond discussion and the restoration.
Do you think that the violation has disrupted or interrupted anything to do with the pond? The filtering of the water, the runoff, or anything that has been...
Well, they're in violation because we sent them a violation notice,
No, I
right?
don't think that's what, you're
Yeah.
asking, are there
And
further
on-
impacts?
Yes.
She's going
Besides the
beyond
initial
that.
effect.
You mean since they stopped work?
Yeah.
I would say no, it's probably the same.
I would, if they're coming back, I would issue the fine when they're here, so they're aware of it. And then,
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care. It doesn't matter if you're not gonna do per day, and if you're just gonna, you're suggesting $100 for the initial one fine, even though they didn't file and we did not notify them. I think we verbally notified them when they came to all the meetings. They had an open hearing with us, but they didn't really rectify the situation.
well, they complied with to get the plan, right?
No.
The restoration plan.
We have one
No.
now.
Yeah, eventually.
Still working on it.
Eventually. So why don't we just defer this and request that it be put on the same meeting
That they're on.
that they're on?
Yeah.
And deal with it then.
Because I think that
That'd be fair to them.
Yeah.
All right, signing, Wickstrom Morse LLP. What is that, a certificate of compliance? Mm-hmm. Oh, let's do some, let's see, that's,
Skipping?
yeah, just seeing if there's any other discussion, but there's not. Okay, so now we can do some
Do you want it, which one are you doing?
signing.
Okay, Mike, you gonna
Four.
sign up for the river cleanup? Did you see the
Well, what
notice
about-
in here?
what
I
about
can put your
number-
name
what about your
down.
skipping
okay.
four?
Yeah, we're,
You're busy that day?
we gotta sign these things, right?
Always busy.
Well, here's,
All right, Town of Douglas, North Street, all right, we just gotta
Sign
sign
that.
that. All right, so let's just start signing stuff. All right, this is $45 for Carol Field
got blank
for her to issue
Are you hungry?
No, I'm gonna go watch my basketball.
What is this one?
Oh, yeah, Final
Wait,
Four.
what?
$45 for Carol
What
Field,
time's it at?
constable, serve.
Started at 9.
So to pay for her survey?
Correct.
Got it.
Let me check this score
And
for
this
you.
is for Art Allen when he came for Bazille.
This is the constable delivering a violation.
And that was Art Allen when he came for our Basil meeting last time.
Yeah.
This is for our consultant. This is the 58 Chestnut Street, which we just closed.
Grab another.
And we need to, Maria, add no stockpile on site.
Do we have that somewhere?
not written in here, but I will be there tomorrow to tell her what to put on these,
Okay.
the extra conditions. And then the North Street Bridge.
No, you're going that way. Everything's going to you.
It's gotta come back to me.
That way.
And this is this is the certificate of compliance for the old North Street Bridge. The old work. And this is for the North Street Bridge new work. Just leave them all here, Tracy.
Okay.
This is old work, old bridge.
And that's the new bridge.
And did we add any conditions to this one?
Yeah.
Yes, and I got that right
got that?
here. No de minimis impact. Boy, that's
a
word
fun
and a
one.
half.
Negligible.
That's like,
De minimis.
This is new bridge.
I've been doing luminosity. They have
Let's see.
a synonym.
That's awesome.
I do the 3 free ones every
60
morning.
Deer
And I'm like
Crossing.
trying to beat them because I feel like my brain is going to mush.
Okay, so
We
we got
closed
two of
that.
those.
60
two of them,
Deer
60
Crossing.
and 64.
and here's 60.
And did we add anything on these? You've got those all?
I did not write down.
I don't think so.
Because they
I don't
looked
think so.
good.
Yeah, they had already met everything we asked them to. Okay, 60 Woodland.
Okay, 68 we're holding on to.
Yeah. 64 Woodland. Mike, you gotta keep up, man. Come on.
Yeah, man, every time I drive a pen, it...
What, those new pens?
Huh?
The new pens are bad?
Want me to write your name?
The blue ones are bad. I'll try a black one.
All right, 42 Huff, done. And this one,
Black one seems to work.
we were all set, 42 Huff Road. '64 Depot, we're doing a site walk.
Wait. Oh, okay. Nothing.
This is tonight's Huff Road.
What's this? Kenneth Bernard, 306 Northwest.
We haven't gotten there yet.
Oh.
All right, so then we have Beaver.
We are just signing fools right now.
Hayward Landing,
That's done. That's done, I think.
the
You signed on Linda's line.
Pardon?
Nothing.
Raymond LaFave. I think we
maybe I
closed
did.
him last time, right?
What's the
I
address?
wasn't here.
Oh,
What's the address?
That's Southeast Maine.
43 Southeast Main.
6 to 4 right now.
I don't have it on last time.
Okay.
You wanted to,
Oh, I have it here.
garage.
17:30.
Oh,
Negative,
got it. March
negative
19th.
conditioning that Steve review straw wattles and silt fence and stockpile as per plan.
Yep,
It's a
got it.
negative.
All right, but is that written in yet? The conditions you just said?
The Conservation Commission shall approve the placement of straw wattles and silt fence prior to installation of garage, stockpiling of material in accordance with plan submitted.
Beautiful.
Maria.
Beautiful.
Good girl. All right, and then,
Beautiful house.
Yeah, I like those,
306 Northwest
Main windows in the garages.
oh, here we go. All right, Kenneth Bernard.
So this is up by,
They want a certificate of
dam.
compliance.
so this is by, where Don LaVar lives, kind of. He came in a couple of years ago.
Off the res. I remember that blue garage, because the house is bullet, right? Is that what you mean by that description? Placing the house bullet?
saying?
Yeah, and as-built, I think also when you.
In the file?
Instead of the front.
Shotgun.
Shotgun.
Not
bullet.
bullet. Shotgun
That's good.
style. Front to back.
Can you
Yes.
grab he's saying there's an as-built in the file, please?
Where would that be?
They already built
In the file, or?
Gorgeous house.
Yeah. That looks like Pacific Blue
Steve,
siding.
you said there's an as-built in here?
Is it in the file somewhere? Is it in your?
No, there's only the certificate of compliance.
Yeah, that's pretty. I like the, you're
Must
talking
have
about the
taken it.
glass on the porch? It's the glass railing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah. Very stabilized.
Oh,
Yeah,
Wow, they did a great job.
yeah, they did. Wow.
I want one.
Maybe I'll let you visit.
I was up
How many
there
guest rooms?
As he was doing it, controlling it and stuff, and he did
Yeah.
a nice job.
Gotta be cold too.
How about up there though? Why isn't that?
Yeah, why isn't that stabilized?
Lumen seed up there.
Is that outside?
Is that 100 feet?
Where's the as-built?
As built. As built.
Looks like it's over
Let me
100.
find
It
it. Let
does to me
see.
too.
Yeah.
Well, except that it wraps around the garage. Like here, of course, is more than 100 feet, but it looked like it wrapped around
Look
to
at
the
the
front.
color of that water. He had to doctor that picture up.
No.
Had to. Look
That
at
was
how
a winter
blue
time
that-
too. I can't see.
Well,
what was
look at
taken.
how green the, yeah.
No.
Let's
Might
use
be-
10, 10, 10.
All right, can we do something else while we're waiting for
All
you to
right.
grab that?
Well, then there's
We've done
just
all
a
our
couple other,
vouchers.
11 Manzy Way.
we could do
minutes real
minutes.
quick?
Yeah,
All
sure.
right. I'm good with January.
Don't think we have anything that will bring this night
To an end.
Come on now, it's only
Yeah.
9:30.
So if anybody doesn't, I'm gonna make a motion.
Go for it.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of January 8th, 2018. As what? Written.
As presented.
Yes.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
This is the 8th, right, January 8th?
Yes, sir.
there's the as-built.
What is this line right here? Is it the 100?
That's the well. The well.
Where's the 100?
Do they need to put that on an as-built though?
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
this is, what is this?
Well, let's see, the well is
118?
100. This is the 100 well line and the water is right here. So just pull back this far. Here's the 100.
So it is right at the garage, so it's outside.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Excellent. All right.
And they had a request, right, put in?
Correct.
Okay, I'll make a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for 306 Northwest Main Street.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, all in
Thank you.
favor?
Aye.
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 Here
Is
you
that number
go.
5, by the way? Is that number
Yes.
5?
Number 4.
Number 4?
Discussion item. Okay, that's that one.
What do you have for meeting minutes?
So February.
2-5.
Top of page 2, first line. Van Roon made a motion to approve the proposed work of going back to the, it's actually pulling back the, so delete the word going, replace with pulling, and delete the word to.
Pulling back the fill. Yep.
Going becomes
Pulling,
pulling, remove the word to.
Yeah.
What's my own?
Wonder how that's going.
February.
Maybe we should reach out to him until,
What's
cause
that?
the commission needs to be notified once it's been-
Linden, 32 Linden, how that's going,
Recorded.
the scraping, scarification, didn't we do all that already?
Order needs to be recorded, the registry of deeds, and he has to notify
Why don't you take a drive-by,
The
see if you
rocks.
started working?
32
The
Linden?
lopes,
Yeah,
yeah.
It was originally a violation.
Lopes.
Thank you.
There you go. Yep. Page 3, number 6, under discussion, a gentleman joined the meeting.
Yeah.
A mystery gentleman.
Do you remember that guy's name, or we went out to,
What day? What meeting are you talking about?
Southeast Main, Lot
February,
8?
February 5.
Remember he went on the site walk with you and I? He putting that driveway in?
Crescent Lane?
Yeah.
What, you want
What was his name?
Oh,
Because right here it just says a gentleman joined the meeting.
The guy from North Brown?
no,
No.
different guy from Rhode Island. I have it. I have it in my,
All right,
well,
so
we need that.
Steve will get the name. All right.
Anybody else?
Nope, I didn't have any corrections.
I move that we approve the February 5th, 2018 meeting minutes as amended.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
So you didn't do number 5.
I'm a minority here. Aye.
Oh,
Aye.
Thank you.
So,
Wexter Morse LLP, Audette.
so we did that last summer. He was the one that, Shady, they had a dog pen.
Yeah.
And I think we asked for an as-bill. So his lawyer filed again, so you want me to just respond that you need an as-bill?
Yes. Yeah, why not?
What
Which
was
one are we
this?
talking about?
Remember that he had a dog coop
Was it
in the
was
buffer?
questionable?
Yeah, but where's it on here? Is this on here?
Yeah.
Number 5.
Thank you very much. Dog
11
kennel,
Nancy
got it.
Way.
And we need it in as-built, is that what we need?
Well, I
You have
think-
pictures?
Dog kennel, they're asking for a certificate of compliance,
Right
and we
there, the
asked
green
for
area.
an as-built, yes? Got it.
I mean, at least they can get what the septic had, what the septic as-built was.
But where's the dog kennel? Right there. No.
Yeah, it's right here to the right.
And it's in the buffer.
It is. So you guys, I don't think they have dogs, but they're new owners.
Okay.
So it's right here to the right. Everything else is fine. It's just this,
That green fence or
Yeah.
to the left of that?
well,
That would be a
Behind
really
it.
big kennel.
So it's behind it that's been cleared that shouldn't have been.
well, I think the previous owners put the,
But is there still a
it's
kennel
not a
back
kennel.
there?
Well, it's fenced. I don't think they use
There's
it.
a fenced area.
It's just a fenced area in the woods. Everything else is fine.
And this is for a certificate.
It is. I think the commission was fine with everything else.
Oh, did we go do a site walk?
I don't think it was,
I don't recognize
you guys never did.
You took pictures and said there was a dog kennel back there. I don't
Well-
remember what we said, though. Why we wouldn't issue it.
Well, probably pull the friggin'
I think
dog
we wanted
fence
a
out.
plan, but
Yeah,
I'd be curious, do you know anything about it, like the septic?
Oh, I
Is
see
that
it
your-
now. Yeah,
the
you can
folder
see it
right
up in
there?
there.
no.
Well, you don't want it to be left there because that's the potential for it to be used. Maybe they get a dog in 5 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, here we go.
you
See,
definitely-
it's all cleared in the back, yeah.
you definitely want the fence to, well, not the fence. If any fence that goes out towards the wetland should come down, the fence along their
Take the
property line
three
is
sides. I
fine.
could say that, you could say that, take the 3 sides away.
Take 3 sides away. Yeah, you can leave
Yeah.
up your
Right.
property
That'd be
line.
great.
Yeah,
Anything
because
else?
it more is like physical buffer.
Yeah,
just
and
allow
once
it to
you take those out, it'll do it
reestablish.
on its own. Yeah, no, we don't want people getting all back in there. Just leave them out.
Yeah.
Just a chain link. You could leave the post, right?
Do you guys want to?
Yeah. You can leave the post.
Just take the chain.
Why would you leave the posts? Are they cemented?
Hard to get out.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
It's a lot harder than rolling up just rolling it off and snipping it.
Okay, that'd be great.
All right. So pretty much remove the fencing on the 3
Perfect.
sides.
If they do it and he verifies it, can we release the certificate?
Well, I wouldn't
or-
sign anything
okay.
right now. Yeah. Okay, so that was that. We haven't read the other minutes.
We just got them tonight. Yeah.
What about the one that you mentioned has been corrected? October 16?
Has it been?
Oh, yeah.
Something about this is a corrected version.
that's right, it's amended.
Was that
And
just in tonight's stuff?
We needed
Yeah.
to find out who was at that meeting, which Audette was it? Was it the older one or the younger one? Because we didn't have their names. And Maria did watch the tape, and she did put who they were.
Okay. That's all we were waiting for?
Correct. There was just 2 people's names.
Okay.
I think it was on page 1.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of October 16th, 2017 as amended.
Second.
Most been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, fine.
Can you entertain a motion to adjourn?
Oh, yes.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.